coached in Kansas until I got this position.
So you're happy to be back in Kansas?
Absolutely, yeah. We're closer to family, which is nice. My wife and I, we're both from the Kansas City area, so our families are in this area, and we're able to obviously see them a lot more than being in Iowa.
All righty, you're coming into tonight's contest 0-1. You got defeated by Mill Valley 42-35, but Mill Valley is a very strong program, obviously, and you guys you played with them.
Yeah, our kids played really hard. It was week one, a lot of mistakes, and Mill Valley made mistakes too. It's not just us. But our kids played with great effort, which is the one thing we ask them to do. We're going to make mistakes. I mean, I made more mistakes than probably anybody on Friday night. So, if they'll play with great effort and be coachable, we feel like we have a chance to compete in most games. Now,
your quarterback, Lee Gage, he's replacing it was the MVP of the Sunflower League last year, correct? Bryce Noenberg?
Yes, Gage Lee.
Right, is your quarterback this year, but he's replacing the quarterback from last year who was the league MVP.
Bryce Noenberg. Yeah, he's a campaign right now.
And how is Lee progressing as the quarterback as a junior?
He's doing well. He hasn't played in a game as a quarterback for a year and a half. He was injured last year, and he got injured halfway through his freshman year, so he missed a lot of time. We actually played him at receiver a little bit last year because of Bryce. But he's doing well. I mean, first game, so he missed some receivers, and he will be fine. He just needs to play. Like I said, we had a handful of guys like that just need to get time on the field.
And then I was reading the Kansas City Star, and I see where Max Armstrong was actually one of the 15 top players in the state of Kansas, in the Kansas City area. Tell us about Max Armstrong.
Max is an awesome kid. I mean, he's an extremely hard worker. He's one of the leaders on our team. He's a two-way player, plays running back and plays linebacker. And he maybe missed less than 5 snaps Friday night. He's not only in the kicking game, but offensively and defensively, I think he missed maybe less than 5 snaps. Max is a really, really good football player, and he's an integral part of what we're trying to do here.
And your offensive line, I figured up, they average like 6'2", 270. That's a pretty big offensive line.
Yeah, we have some big kids up front. Yeah, we're not lacking for size up there. We got some kids that are big, and they're. I mean, I think they're good football players. They're not just big kids that kind of get in your way. I mean, they play, and that's that has to be a strength of our team. It has to be this year.
Talking with the head coach of Olathe South, that's Ron Litchfield. And you also have, is it Juju Marks that is signed to play at KU?
Yeah, he's committed. He's not signed, but he's committed to play at Kansas, yes.
All righty.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about him.
Juju transferred here this summer. He started with us this summer. An incredible athlete, an incredible football player, great kid. I'm probably more impressed with him as a person than as a football player. He is, and that's the kind of things we focus on. We want guys that are good people, and he is. I mean, he's a leader on our team. He's been here for 4 months, and he was voted as a captain by his teammates. So that says a lot about him right there. And he's a very personable kid, a very strong leader on our team, and obviously a very good football player.
Now, obviously, coming from the Kansas City area, you don't have to make a lot of trips like you are the one to Great Bend today.
No, we do not.
You were telling me Lawrence
for our guys.
Lawrence is your furthest trip most of the time.
It is. Yeah, it's about 50 minutes. Yeah, that's about as far as we go. We're usually in Johnson County most of the time.
All right. What do you know about Great Bend?
I do know. I've watched them on film, and they got some really good players. Talking last year, trying to set this game up, and watching just what I've heard from the past. I know Coach Beck's doing a really good job with those guys. They're well coached. You can see on film they play hard, and like I said, they got as much talent as we will see this year. Their skilled kids are really, really good players. They got a handful of linemen that can play football. It's not. I mean, it has to be a business trip for us. And they're good.
All right, Coach, that's going to wrap it up, but I have one final question since it is September 13th. Any pregame superstitions that you need to be aware of or make up?
I really don't buy into that a whole lot. I think I'm just a creature of habit where I just do the same thing every day. So I guess if those are superstitions, I would probably say yeah, but I just like to do the same thing. I don't like to change. I'm not a big fan of change. So, no, not a big superstitious guy.
Talking with Ron Litzfield. He is the coach of Olathe South, and we'll be right back with more of your pregame show. This is B1043 The Point.
Beef, it's what's for dinner. America's taste for beef continues to grow, and much of that nutritious product is produced here in our local community. Innovative livestock services, Ward Feed Yard, Great Bend Feeding, and Barton County Feeders are proud to carry athletes in today's game.
The trouble with the future is that it keeps getting closer, which means regardless of your income or goals, it's important to begin developing a plan today. At Edward Jones, they like to look at your individual needs before anything else. Call Todd Armatist, Jim Vopat, Chris Sundahl, Jim Armatist, or Cameron Smith at Edward Jones, Great Bend today.
This is Julie from the Fieldhouse, and we are a proud supporter for the Great Bend Panthers. At the Fieldhouse, we strive to provide space for our athletes to work hard and achieve their goals. Surround yourself with those who want to be great. Join us at the Fieldhouse, where our motto is leadership through athletics. So check us out at fieldhouse.com.
I'm Car Andrews, class of 2035. Empire Realty is a proud supporter of Great Bend High School. When you're ready to buy or sell your home, call Empire Realty. My dad and the Empire team are ready to help you find your next home. Go Panthers!
Farmers Bank and Trust, to supporting the communities we serve. From ag lending, home loans, and rural banking to participation in the activities that make a community strong. We're proud to help bring you this Panther broadcast. Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
The Great Bend Rec Center is a proud sponsor of this Great Bend High broadcast. And whether it be on the gridiron, courts, or the green, they would like to wish all Panther athletes competing this school year good luck. Go Panthers from the Great Bend Rec.
Looking for the best carpet, upholstery, and tile cleaning? Magna Dry Cleaning Service is your go-to in Great Bend. They also handle water and fire restoration and job site cleanup. For a cleaner, fresher home or business, visit us at 18th and Main. Magna Dry Cleaning Service, your clean begins here.
Sutherland staff and knowledgeable experts can help you plan any project. When it comes to home improvement and building materials, remember Sutherland's of Great Bend, a proud supporter of Panther sports. Sutherland's helping America build it better since 1917.
Kickoff is a few minutes away. Keys to the game are coming up, brought to you by Animal Medical Center. But first, Mike Hesher visits with Panther head football coach Aaron Beck. Next on B1043 The Point.
Freedom Claims Management Incorporated proudly supports Great Bend Panther sports. Let the experienced and dedicated staff at FCMI customize a health insurance plan that fits your business needs. Whether you're a large corporation or small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated has you covered.
Advanced Truck and Diesel is proud to sponsor this Great Bend High Panther broadcast. Good luck to all the Panthers competing this fall. Work hard, represent our community well, and remember, at Advanced Truck and Diesel, we swing the big wrenches.
Rosenberg Family Dentistry, proud supporters of Great Bend Panther Sports, provides top-notch dental care with advanced technology and expert training in implants and laser dentistry. Your smile is their priority. Rosenberg Family Dentistry. Get more out of life with a great smile.
Delgado's Mexican Restaurant, 10th and Stone Street, is a proud supporter of Great Bend High School Panthers. Delgado's open for lunch 11 to 1:30 and dinner from 5 to 8 Monday through Friday. And for catering, give them a call and taco about it. Delgado's.
The Panther pregame show is brought to you by GB Tire. When you need tires, you want to trust the best.
GB Tires, the tire experts of Great Bend. GB. Generations of buyers come back time and again. GB. Out in the field, out on the road. GB Tires has the names you know. Like Bridgestone, Firestone, on GB you can depend. GB. With fast, friendly service like it's always been. Don't need an appointment, just bring it in. GB Tires, the tire experts of Great Bend.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Great Bend. Mike Hesher here with you. This is the pregame show brought to you by GB Tire. Joining us now is the head coach of the Great Bend Panthers, Aaron Beck. And, Coach, just a little bit of talk about last week's game against McPherson. Very clean game on both sides. No turnovers and very few penalties by either team.
Yeah, that was probably the most surprising thing from that week game. There's going to be a little bit of miscues, whether it's bad snaps or, not handling the football correctly, and both teams kind of took care of that. And I just felt we kind of started out a little sluggish. The penalties kind of came early, and then it was, like you said, a clean game. Once we got those first 2 drives out of the way offensively and those first 2 drives out of the way defensively, our kids really settled in and played a nice game. And defensively, I thought we did a great job of our front guys, our front D-line and linebackers getting after the quarterback. 7 sacks as a team, that's got to be some kind of record. Coach Lett and I went and looked, and there's not really one kept, but that's a lot of quarterback pressures. And thought we had some guys step in some key roles. Jacob Hall had an unbelievable game out there at a new position in that Panther spot for us defensively, and just provides a ton of athleticism. You guys have all seen him on the basketball floor, and he kind of brought that same athleticism to the football field and helped our defense tremendously. And we've already talked about Connor Holiday and what he did, getting 3 sacks in a new position and helping our D-line, being able to be that hybrid kid. And then, we had some new faces. Cohen Raborti had to step in and help out when Hayden went down, and he's a nice kid to have to kind of sub in and fill into some spots. And then having Trent in the middle is a guy that we want to always funnel everything to, and we're gonna need all of them tonight versus Olathe South.
And Connor Holiday was on Sports Day yesterday, and I liked his comment about he tries to keep it low key. I'm assuming that's not natural for any of the players.
No, and that's something as high school players we talk to them a lot about. Even the night before the game, all day during school, you have to be able to keep your emotions in check, because it can be exhausting if you try to let that wear on you all day. It's gonna take it out of you. So making sure you're not playing outside of yourself, making sure you're just doing your job, and that's what you want to see. And then playing off that emotion on Friday night, and we'll see that tonight in our home stadium.
And tonight is the home opener against Olathe South. How did this game with the South come about?
Well, week 2 we've always played Hayes, and they were, they're our big rival, and Coach Crow and I have talked over the years that we wish we could get that game later in the year, and we were finally able to. ADs came together and said, let's move it back. We're going to get a better product. Both teams will be a little bit more prepared. So once we did that, the week 2 slot opened up. So we lose Ulysses later in the year, but Olathe South was looking for one, and this group, talking with our coaches, talking with our kids, we wanted it, and we'll see, but it's a 6A team, a big school that plays a lot of good teams. They are battle tested, but we're excited for the opportunity to come on in and come out to Great Bend. That's one thing that we feel like benefits us, is they haven't had many trips over 40 minutes, so this will be a new experience for them, and I'm excited for this atmosphere tonight. Let's just say that.
I did talk to their coach. He says their longest trip is going to Lawrence, which is 50 minutes, so you are correct. So coming into tonight's contest, we know how big they are, 6'2", 270s, 260s, the average of the offensive line. How do you combat their size?
Well, that's the biggest thing is size. You can't really teach that. You can't really coach that. They have some big boys up front, and that'll be key. Obviously, on the defensive side of the ball, it'll be not letting them latch onto you. And can you still take on double teams and keep our linebackers free? Because that they go as their running back goes and their run game goes. So they want to run the football and establish that and get Max Armstrong going. So we have to make sure that we are getting off blocks, taking on those double teams, keeping our linebackers clean, running to the football. We got to get 11, because it'll take all 11 to get him down. He does not go down easy. I've seen him break a lot of tackles over the last 2 years. He is one of the toughest football players I've turned the film on and seen in a long, long time. So it's going to be a fun test. And if on the flip side of it, their defensive line, their defensive tackles, they rotate about 3 in there, and I think their average weight is about 295. So those defensive tackles are the biggest we will see and have seen. And their defensive ends play just hard, and then Max Armstrong obviously plays linebacker for him as well, and that's kind of the strength of the defense. So controlling them, trying to make sure blocking assignments, pass protection is good with those guys will be key, because there are some spots that we feel like we match up a little better than them with some of our inside receivers in some of those spots.
Since they're so big, do you feel like you're quicker than they are?
Well, that will be key, is to can we exploit some areas of their defense. Not saying we're quicker than them, but can we exploit some areas and get in some matchups that we love? So that will be the chess match tonight, is to try to get them moved around because, they played Mill Valley week 1 and Mill Valley played with the tight end. And Mill Valley kind of handcuffed them defensively because they were able to dictate what Olathe South was doing defensively and controlled them. And I know we're going to see a lot different look. We're going to see a lot of multiple looks, and that's something that we've talked to Dax about. They're not going to come out and just do the same thing they did against Mill Valley. It's going to be a different look because we run a little different style offense, but I'm excited for this opportunity. Our kids are salivating at the mouth for this opportunity, and I just can't wait for kickoff.
Coaches always say you see the biggest improvement between game 1 and 2. How was practice this week?
It was good. Our kids are so competitive, and if they can go against each other, it creates a lot of good things because they want to raise each other's levels. Sometimes when we're always on the same side, sometimes it's like an old married couple bickering back and forth with each other. But these kids just want to win, and that's where it all stems from. And I feel like we've really come together as a group here this week, and are excited. I think our defense is playing some of the best football I've seen in a while. As a unit, they just want to make the play. They don't care who does it. They just want to make the play, and that's what we love to see. And this atmosphere tonight, I said it this morning at the pep assembly, this community, this school, under these lights on a Friday night in Great Bend is the best atmosphere in the state of Kansas. And I've been to a lot of different places, and nothing can duplicate Memorial Stadium. It's going to be rocking tonight, and can't wait to go out there and play.
Okay, today is Friday the 13th. Any superstitions you have to worry about today?
No, I know all of our coaches and kids. We all have little superstitions there and here and there, but I always say superstitions are just a sign that you care, and that's one thing that this coaching staff and these kids, we care about this game of football, and can't wait to go out and play it the right way and get after them tonight.
Well, if I recall right, Steve Webster had to wear the same shirt when he was doing sports day when you came in. So I don't know about the superstition part. Okay, good luck, Coach.
All right, thanks, Mike.
That is the head coach of the Great Bend Panthers, Aaron Beck, and we'll be right back with more of your pregame show. It's powered by Equity Bank.
In support of Panther athletics for many years. Your officials this evening, Brad Eberhardt, Storm Scott, Luke Carter, Matt Vogel, and Matt Woody.
City area. They are 0-1 on the season after losing to Mill Valley last week, 42-35. And the Panthers, a win over McPherson on Friday night by a score of 28-6. Your keys to the game are brought to you by Animal Medical Center. Large or small, they take care of them all. And Sean Baer has your keys to the game.
Well, coming out, good home crowd. I'd say the biggest thing offensively the Panthers need to do is they need to control the ball. They need to have a very high numerical value on possession time. The more that they have the ball on offense, the less we're going to be talking about that running back over there, help me out.
Max Armstrong,
the less we're going to be saying his name. So, if they can control the clock, control the ball, not give that gentleman a lot of touches or a lot of time with the ball, that's going to be key. Also, they cannot turn over the ball. You give a team like Mill Valley, Olathe South a short field, and I'm sure fairly quickly they can put some points on you. Defensively, you can't give up big plays. You got to control your gap, even if it means that you're going to get piled up or you're getting double teamed. Instead of getting driven backwards, create a pile, fall to your knees, create a pile, make that running back or ball carrier bounce to an outside, which is going to allow a little bit of a pursuit, extra time to come in and do it. So don't give up the big plays. And, like we talked last week, if Great Bend can pull off a big special team play, whether it be a block kick, a return, a big return, all those things will go into pulling off an upset.
Looks like Great Bend won the toss. They deferred, and Olathe South will get the football to start the ball game. The pregame show this afternoon is brought to you by Great Bend GB Tire. When you need tires, you want to trust the best. And talking about some of those numbers quickly for Olathe South, Max Armstrong is the running back. He's a 5'10", 195-pound senior. Last week against a very good Mill Valley team, 24 carries, 216 yards, a 9-yard average, 4 touchdowns. He caught the ball 7 times for 53 yards. And the quarterback, Gage Lee, he's a 6'1", 180-pound junior. He threw the ball 13 times, completed 11 of them, but only for 77 yards. No touchdowns, a couple interceptions, and he ran an average of 10 yards a contest, or 10 yards a carry, 12 carries, 123 yards. So you got to watch about him out of the backfield as well.
Well, and that's just the deal. Who do you key? You can't key a person. You have to key an area. And again, if you just play your gap, you play it tough, you play it according to the game plan, the cards will just fall.
Tonight's opening kickoff is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future at Barton. Great Bend will be kicking off. They'll be moving right to left or south to north here at GBH's Memorial Stadium. Winds are a little bit out of south, about 86 degrees for game time temperature, with the ball teed up for the Panthers. That is Omar Rosario, and he puts a foot into it. It's a high kick. It's going to be a short kick, taken about the 18-yard line, and they just misplayed, and the ball's loose inside the 10-yard line, still loose on the field, and it's loose and picked up by the Panthers. Oh, my goodness. Great Bend has the football inside the 5-yard line as the return man for Olathe South played that poorly.
Played it poorly. The ball was squirting around back there, and he just never got on it. At some point, you just need to cover the ball. Didn't really have a grasp on it, and you just allowed a whole lot of time for the 2 fastest guys on the Panthers, Jay Schartz and Cooper Omach, to fly down there, take your head off, and very advantageous to open the game again with a very, very big special teams play.
Last week, Great Bend returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, but so did Olathe South. But Great Bend, dressed in their black uniforms, they'll have the ball first and goal inside the 5-yard line at the Olathe South 4-yard line. Dax Minton, the quarterback for the Panthers. He takes the snap. He hands off to Cooper Omont, and he's going to be knocked down about the 4-yard line. Very little gain on the play. They'll bring up a second down and goal for the Panthers. They're going to spot it at the 4. No gain on the play.
Nice play there, but number 99, Jordan Berry for Olathe South, he just crossed the face of the offensive lineman who did not get the block sealed off, but Cooper had a bounce to the outside if we can just get that done.
Berry last week had 8 tackles and 4 of them for losses in the game against Mill Valley. Second and goal for Great Bend. They're moving right to left here. They're inside the Olathe South 5-yard line after they misplayed the opening kickoff. Minton back to pass, scrambles to the right, has looking for the pylon on the right side, and he's in for the touchdown. As Dax Minton able to get outside the pocket, scrambled in for the touchdown, and just like that, Great Bend leads it by a score of 6-0. It only took them 45 seconds to this week, and last week it was 14.
A little misdirection there in the backfield. Daxon faked the handoff up the middle, was able to bounce, break, contain around to the outside, and just a great job by Jacob Hall to seal off that outside force player and allow Minton to dash up the sideline and score the touchdown.
Great Bend on top 6-0 as they go for the point after touchdown. Omar Rosario will be your kicker. The long snapper is Jacob Hall, and your holder is Hayden Kelly. Hayden was dinged up a little bit, and this partially blocked, but it's no good. So for the second consecutive week, Great Bend is unable to convert on the first PAT, and with 11:15 to play in the first quarter, Great Bend leads Olathe South 6-0. We'll be right back. Panther Sports is powered by Equity Bank. We never forget, it's your money.
Service from people you know, quality products and professional installation. That's Kern Floor Service. Stop by Kern Floor Service and browse through the different selections of flooring from laminate to vinyl, carpet, wood, and ceramic tile.
Ooh, geese.
The official home of Panther football is B1043, The Point.
Well, that was a two-play, 4-yard drive for the Great Bend Panthers after they recovered the opening kickoff inside the Olathe South 5-yard line. Dak Smith taking it in from 4 yards out with 11:15 to play in the first quarter, and Great Bend unable to convert the PAT. They lead it 6-0. Olathe South. Home white, or their traveling white uniforms, their blue numerals trimmed in yellow. Great Bend in all black tonight with white numerals trimmed in red. As Rosario has the ball teed up again, this one kicked to the same spot, and this time it's going to be bouncing at the goal line and into the end zone. So Olathe South will have the football for the first time at their own 20-yard line.
Pretty good job there. Directional kick, kind of a coffin corner. You want to do that to where you can get your guys lane and just kind of funnel him to one side, and it limits the whole field by a returner.
Up front for the Falcons, Juju Marks, 6'6", 290. He's a senior. He's a left tackle. The left guard is Peter McSwaney. He's 6'4", 310. He's a senior. The center is Noah Crossman, 6', 205. Aiden Shellhammer, 6', 260. He's a senior. And then Matt Gray, your right tackle, 6'3", 290. The snap is about. They throw it out to the running back, Mac Armstrong. He makes the catch, and he's going to be gang tackled. Still pushing. It's a scrum out there, and the referee's letting it go. And Max Armstrong out to about the 28-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 8.
Well, and you had brought up in the pregame that they didn't throw it a lot. They basically just threw it when they had to last week, and that was just a little quick screen out there. And, of course, you can design, and Coach even said before the game, they were going to design a lot of plays and a lot of that offense to go through number 21.
Second down, 2. Olathe with the football, moving it left to right. They're coached by Ron Litchfield. He's in his 3rd year, and he's 13-8 in his 3 years. Gage Lee is the quarterback for Olathe South, 6'1", 180-pound junior. He's in the shotgun formation, and we have a flag thrown. And the Great Bend Panthers are clapping. It looks like the penalty will go against the white-cladded Olathe South Falcons, and just back them up 5 yards. It'll bring up a second down, and we'll call it 4.
Looked like Trey Hayes out there, the split in on the wide side of the field, got a little bit anxious and jumped off sides. And that's a break for the Panther defense because they kind of scrum their way for that extra 5 yards after contact on first down.
Second down, we'll call it 6.5. Ball just inside the 24-yard line. Snap back to Lee. He's being put pressure, runs outside, trying to get away from Holiday. Gets the corner turned, and is going to be pushed out. Going to be pretty much no gain on the play. Nice play on the far sideline by the Panthers. We'll give them a half a yard. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 6 for Olathe South. Big 3rd down early in the contest.
Very big 3rd down. Nice job by Holiday to get through and make penetration and force Lee to break way outside. A lot of good penetration there by the Panther defensive line.
3rd down and 6. Just under 10 minutes to play. Back to passes lead. It's a little short, little pass, middle screen. And with the catch, it's going to be a first down across the 30-yard line. Making the catch, that was Anthony Harris, I believe. Yes, it was. Harris is a 6'3", 175-pound sophomore. He has 11 yards on the play, good for a first down.
And defensively, you just can't key on one player. You have to be able to control your gap. You have to play your responsibility. That time, they were able to bounce Robinson out to the outside, and unfortunately, 2 guys went with him.
Handoff going to Armstrong. He's up the middle. He's across the 35. They're going to mark it at the 37-yard line for Max Armstrong. He's the 5'10", 195-pound senior. Had 216 yards rushing last week.
Just a great job there by Kaiser. He dropped down, and again, he was getting double teamed in that A gap, and he was big enough and strong enough that he dropped the lower center of gravity, made him bounce around, and cleaned up by the linebackers.
We'll give him a gain of 2 out to the 37-yard line for Great Bend. As we have 9:06 to play in the first quarter, Great Bend on top by a score of 6-0. Shotgun formation for Lee. He'll hand off to Armstrong again. This time he's battling to the 4. Ball loose on the field, says the Panthers. No sign from the officials yet. And Great Bend comes out the bottom of the pile with it. And I believe the official says Great Bend football. So the Panthers get a turnover on the opening kickoff, and now they force a turnover at the 40-yard line. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the Olathe South 40.
Right now, home field advantage is definitely in the Panthers' favor. Great job by Hall. He came up and put a pretty good smack there on Armstrong, put his helmet right on the football. Ball came out, and Big Owen Kaiser was right there to pick it up.
Great Bend, with their second possession, they're able to drive 4 yards for a touchdown on their first possession. Just under 9 minutes to play first quarter. Great Bend on top by a score of 6-0. Handoff goes. There's going to be a reverse off to Cooper Omont. He's looking to throw down the field and breaking open. Well, the ball is going to be caught for a touchdown. Oh, the Panthers with a little razzle-dazzle, and that was Cooper Omont with the touchdown, or was that Jacob Hall? That was Jacob Hall, I believe, with the touchdown. What a play by the Panthers, and they lead at 12-0.
I'm here to tell you right now, Cooper Omok threw that ball about 50 yards, kind of on a line. In fact, Jacob Hall started to come back as if he wasn't sure that Cooper was going to have the arm to get it there. It turned into a double move, and as Cooper let it go and the ball went deep, the DB lost control of Hall. Hall got behind him, and Cooper laid it right in there for a perfect strike.
40 yards for the touchdown, and this PAT by the Panthers, this one is no good as well. So with 8:45 to play, Great Bend with a shocking start against Olathe South here. They've been able to convert a couple of turnovers into points, and they lead at 12-0. 8:45 to play in quarter number one. GBH Panther Sports, powered by Equity Bank. They never forget it's your money.
Chris Ramsey, your shelter insurance agent in Great Bend, is here to make sure you're covered with the right protection at the right price. From auto and home insurance to life, business, farm, and more, Shelter can cover it. Peace of mind is just a phone call away. Give Chris a call, 620-793-9390.
The American Plains Co-op supports all of the students of USD 428 in academics, activities, and athletics. Your hard work pays off, and you represent our community so well. Backing every Panther every day, the American Plains Co-op.
Marmy Auto Group, your central and western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th. Marmy's make it happen.
This is Nathan at GB Tarp Company. We specialize in roll tarps, camper skirts, and custom solutions tailored for your needs. Durable, reliable, made to last. When your tarp wears out, give us a shout. GB Tarp Company, carrying genuine Sherco parts and accessories. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, or at gbtarpcompany.com.
It's Panther football on B1043 The Point.
This Great Bend High School
kicking
Panther
off,
Sports
ball in,
broadcast
that's a
is
deep-
brought to you by Insurance Planning of Great Bend, Hayes, and Russell. Insurance Planning offers a full line of insurance products and risk management services for the way you work and live. Call Insurance Planning today in Great Bend, Hayes, or Russell.
The official home of Panther football is B1043 The Point.
Kickoff taken by Olathe South. They're able to get it out across the 21-yard line. They'll start their second possession after fumbling the opening kickoff, and it's 12-0 Great Bend, 8:40 to play in quarter number one.
I think they got a little beneficial call there. It looked like the return man had 1 foot in the end zone, and typically in high school, any part of the returner with the ball is in the end zone. They blow it dead and go to the 20, but fortunately they got it at the 21.
Olathe South with the football. They give it off to Armstrong. He tries to break out to the outside. Now he cuts up in the middle of the field, and he's out to the 25-yard line. Give him a gain of 3. And quickly, we need to tell you the first score has happened twice now, but if you want to text 620-639-6946, you can win a free meal of your choice from Delgado's menu. That's 620-639-6946. Great Bend with the football. 2nd down and 6 after the 4-yard pickup by Armstrong. Great Bend up 12-0 as we move under 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. What a start for the Panthers here against 6A Olathe South. Snap back to Armstrong. He goes back to pass, looking downfield, and this one's going to be deep. Let's see, and it's going to be a defensive pass interference call. No, they're going to no call. Looks like Ian Premer. They might have caught a break there, in my opinion, as the ball was underthrown and Premer just kind of ran over the receiver and no call. Your opinion on that one?
Well, we might have got away with one on that particular play. You know, all Premer really has to do is find the football. If he looks back, there's no question about it. And unfortunately, he did not look back. But there again, he didn't really try to create contact. He just was between the ball and the defender. I would definitely say that Olathe probably had a leg to stand on there. But, hey, it's not a flag if the official doesn't throw the flag.
3rd down and 6. Olathe South moving to left to right here in the second quarter. The visitors from the Kansas City area, down 12-0 here with 7:52 to play into the first quarter. There goes Holiday, almost had a sack. As Lee able to sneak up underneath him, throws a pass that's going to be incomplete on the near sideline. Intended for, that was looking for Max Armstrong, goes through his hands, and it's going to bring up a 4th down for Olathe South and head coach Ron Litchfield. What does the third-year coach at Olathe South does? Looks like he's going to send on his punting team.
Just a great job back there in coverage by Tomlinson, Hall, and Wandra. You know, we talk a lot about the defensive line, and we talk a lot about that great linebacker core, but our secondary, if it ever comes down to can they cover, absolutely yes.
Back in punt formation is Cooper. Let's see, that's Quentin Hardy, and there's a punt away. It's a high kick, and it's going to hit about the 45-yard line, bounces sideways, and Great Bend, it's going to have great field position, not quite as well as what they've had early on in the contest. They'll start this drive at the 44-yard line. Their first drive, they started at the 4-yard line of Olathe South, and their second drive at the 40. This one will be at their own 44.
Well, just another opportunity right now for Great Bend to really put Olathe South in a hole. If they can come out and drive down and score. Most importantly, they haven't done it because they've been on the field, 1 and out and 2 and out, and scored touchdowns on both offensive possessions. But right here, a long sustained drive would go miles towards letting your defense catch their wind a little bit. And also just milking down some of this clock in the first quarter.
Up front for Great Bend, Blaine Inslee is a 6 foot, 205-pound junior. Trent Curran, 6 foot, 215-pound junior. He's a left guard. Carter Brown is your center, 6 foot, 256. Aiden Davidson, 5'10", 230, and Owen Kaiser, 6'4", 250 up front for the Panthers. Minton back to pass. Little flare out to Omok. Omok makes the catch, makes a man miss. He's across the midfield drive inside the 45 down to the 44-yard line as the Panthers have a first down inside Olathe territory at the Falcons 44.
Just a great job by Minton there. Don't force the ball down the field. Very controlled, a little 2-yard out route. Up underneath the defense, and Minton was able to find Omok, and Omok did a great job of redirecting and making a couple of guys miss out there on the outside.
So Cooper Omok now has 2 touchdowns passing the football, as he threw one last week to Minton, and he threw another one tonight to Jacob Paul. Panthers moving right to left. Handoff goes right up the middle, and this time the big defensive line for the Olathe South Falcons make the stop. They say the ball is loose on the field. No signal from the official yet. I believe it's going to be no gain on the play. Great Bend will still have the football, 2nd down and 10 at the Olathe South 44.
That was one of those plays where we tried to go right between the tackles, and our offensive line fired out basically into a wall, and there wasn't a lot of movement up the middle. Jace got the ball and just got what he could. Did a pretty nice job of holding on to the football, but eventually about the 3rd guy that went in there and stripped the ball got it to come out, but they had been blown dead.
Jordan Perry is one of their defensive linemen. He's 6'4", 235. They got some big boys. 2nd down and 10. Shotgun formation for Minton. Back to pass. Looking for Premer on the near sideline. Premer makes the catch inside the 40 at the 38-yard line. That's going to be a gain of about 6 on the play. We'll give him 7. He's to the 37. Will bring up a 3rd down and 3.
Nice job by the offensive line. They just held their ground, gave Minton enough time in the backfield to come to the near side of the field and find Premer. And Premer does a good job of breaking and getting his defender to roll his hips. Opened up just enough to seam that ball right in there.
5:49 to play, first quarter. Great Bend on top, 12-0. As the Olathe South jumps, has a nice job of drawing the defenders offside there by Daxton Minton. And that will give Great Bend a first down. If that's what the call is, it is. That is the 2nd penalty against Olathe South. And it's a first down for the Panthers. Then they move the chains. The ball spotted at the 33.
That's how defensive coordinators lose their jobs, is when their defense is not settled enough or, how do you want to say it, coached enough that on a 3rd and short, they have to expect that they're going to try to get a freebie. And great job by Dax Minton to change up that cadence.
Clock running, under 5.5 to play, first quarter. Great Bend on top, 12-0. Minton back to pass, looking downfield. Has plenty of time now, going deep down the field, and it's going to be up for grabs. And making the catch! What a catch by the Panthers! Cooper Omok able to jump over the defender and makes the catch in the black turfed end zone right on the B for Great Bend. And the Panthers shocking Olathe South right now. It's 18-0 after they've scored on 3 possessions.
If you didn't get to see that, let me just say, you got mossed.
That's a good
That
point.
was a you got Moss.
Randy Moss. Yes, sir.
Cooper Omok goes up, and it looked like one-handed over the top of his defender, who was really it was kind of a questionable throw to send it down that seam. But Cooper Omok goes up and just says, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to peel this rebound out of here." One-handed, came down with the touchdown.
18-0. Looks like there's a timeout on the field as Great Bend. They might go for 2 here. They lead at 18-0, 5:18 to play. And boy, you could not have scripted a better start for the team from Western Kansas against one of the big boys from Eastern Kansas.
Well, you always say you come out and if you're the low man on the totem pole, how do you win a street fight? Well, you strike first. You make sure that you're the first one that gets off early, and that's exactly what Great Bend has done. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns, 2 of them set up being advantageous on turnovers. But that was just a great drive. 3 or 4 plays. I lost count. Usually I don't catch on till about 5 plays, but they're definitely executing a game plan here and looking great.
What do you think the young men from Olathe South are thinking?
Who are they?
And what happened? We were just supposed to come out as a 6A school and beat this team. It has not happened thus far, but we got a long way to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're midway through the first quarter. Great Bend will go for 2 here, leading 18-0. 3 receivers split to the far side, 1 to the near. Minton will roll out to his right, looking, little pass over the middle, and it's caught. Cooper Omot again. Cooper Omot having a great game thus far. And with 5:18 to play in quarter number 1, Great Bend 20, Olathe South 0. We'll be right back to Memorial Field in Great Bend, Memorial Stadium. Panther Sports is powered by Equity Bank. They never forget it's your money.
Plumbing and heating emergencies rarely happen between 9 and 5. That's why the pros at Comfort Pro are available 24/7, 365 to ensure your home stays warm and dry all year long. Comfort Pro is just a phone call away.
Buy or sell your home with confidence at Coldwell Banker Sell Real Estate. Your home sale experience should be simple and rewarding. And our agents at Coldwell Banker will make that happen for you. Call any of our
in quarter number 1, GBHS 20, Olathe South 0.
One of those situations, the Panthers, they just need to keep their foot on the accelerator and keep going. Obviously, against a team that has as many skill position players as Great Bend does, that's the deal. You just got to put one play at a time here forward.
Great Bend, Omar Rezayo has the ball teed up at the 40. He'll swing the right leg and connect with the pigskin, drives it deep, end-over-end kick down to the 2-yard line, and is taken by Olathe South as they move up the field, and he cuts outside. He cuts up the middle and is going to be drugged down by the tail of the shirt as a bunch of Panthers finally driving him back. Ian Premer there along with Great Bend's.
Basically the whole return team.
That was Dominic Price in there as well, I believe. And so it'll be Olathe South football at the 18-yard line as Great Bend just continues to put Olathe South on their heels. Nope, they're going to knock it up at the 26. My bad.
I'd kind of like to see the officials blow the whistle a little bit quicker out there. That's how you get somebody piled up or rolled up, is by not blowing it dead.
Straight snap this time to Max Armstrong, and he moves up the field. He gets across the 25. They're going to give him a yard gain to the 27. They showed this in the first couple of plays against Mill Valley last week, and it's an unbalanced line and kind of looks like what maybe the old wing T looked like or something. I'm not.
It's definitely a full house backfield.
Yes,
where
it is.
They're coming between the tackles, double tight, and they're just exploiting the run game.
Gain of 1. And they're going to just run up behind the offensive line and out across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Once again, that's going to be Max Armstrong. We'll give him a gain of about, let's see, they're going to spot it at the 32. That'll be gain of 3. So Armstrong thus far, 5 carries for 12 yards. 3rd down and 4 for Olathe South. Snap back to Armstrong. He just runs up the middle of the field, and he's going to be short of the first down as the whole defensive line for Great Bend right there. Armstrong stopped at the 35-yard line. That's where Olathe will have a fourth down, and we'll call it 2. And I'm guessing they might go for it here.
I think in a short field and you're down 20 points, they absolutely have nothing to lose. And again, they've said that their strength is that offensive line, so we'll see here.
It is a full house backfield up the middle, and battling is Armstrong. He's going to get across the 40 through the 38, across the 35 to the 38. It will be a first down for Olathe South. And maybe that was Coach Litchfield just saying, okay, let's calm down, let's get a first down, and now we'll go back to our regular offense.
Well, and that's one of those situations, wrestling, football, it's a game of leverage. And if you can get your pad level low, that's tough to do, tough to run the football at any way, no matter how big your offensive line is.
Okay, back in shotgun formation is Gage Lee, the quarterback. He's looking to the near sideline. The pass out there is complete across the 40-yard line, diving ahead to the 42-yard line. That is Anthony Harris with the reception.
Well, the Panthers, you can see some of these D linemen, offensive linemen, got their hands on their hips. Again, when you run the football, it takes a lot out of a D line.
For second down, ball at the 42-yard line. It'll be a gain of 5, and we're going to have a flag thrown. Ball down the field. A man wide open for the Olathe South Falcons. There's a nice hit by Premer, and the receiver for Olathe South a little bit slow getting up. And is that a completed pass, or is there a flag down?
Well, they've thrown a late flag there on the hit by Premer.
It was a little high. We'll see if the receiver is laid out. He's able to move his extremities, but he's just flat on his back right at the 40-yard line. We have 2:59 to play in the first quarter. Great Bend with a quick start. They lead it by a score of 20-0 over the Olathe South Falcons. Scoring, Great Bend recovered the opening kickoff after Olathe South mishandled it, and in a 4-yard touchdown run by Dax Minton made it 6-0 after the PAT was up, and the receiver is up for the Olathe South Falcons. Getting a nice hand here from the Great Bend fans. That was Trey Hayes. He's a 5'11", 155-pound sophomore. Now the officials are talking about it.
And that was kind of a crazy play because Hayes was able to catch the ball and actually took 2 or 3 steps and turned his back to the incoming contact and dropped down, and that's when Premer had come in and led with his shoulder, and unfortunately caught Hayes in the back of the head with his shoulder. But really there was not a lot of, it was definitely a high contact, but with the receiver having caught the ball, taken a couple of steps, and turning his back to the oncoming collision, I'm not so sure you can throw a flag on that.
Great Bend Sports brought to you in part by Keller Real Estate and Insurance Agency, Insurance Planning, Equity Bank, and the 10th Street Eye Care. Officials still talking things over. Now, Ron Litchfield, the head coach of Olathe South, out there talking things over at the 40-yard line across the way here. Memorial Stadium, just a beautiful night for football. Maybe a little warm, but game time temperature was 86 degrees as the sun sets in the west, and the whole field now is in shadows.
Well, I'm here to tell you, I got warm when I walked these stairs to come up to the press box. I'm not so sure that they haven't added a few since I was here.
I think I talked to 5 people. Okay, there you go. So offsetting penalties. Olathe South was ticketed with illegal motion, and then they're going to call the penalty on Ian Premer, but they're offsetting. So great. So the Olathe South will have a second down. The ball at the 43-yard line for the Falcons. They're moving to left to right here, and they trail 5A Great Bend by a score of 20-0, 2:59. Yeah, I didn't talk to anybody that wasn't a little winded coming up those stairs. It was even the only Mike Corson was having a little bit of trouble coming up them stairs.
And he's slim.
Yes, he is. Okay, now official raises his right hand, says we're ready for action. Great Bend dressed in the black uniforms, white numerals. Olathe South with white uniforms. There's a handoff to Max Armstrong, and the Panthers thus far have done a nice job against Max Armstrong. He gains a couple on the play out to the 45-yard line, and that's going to bring up a It's going to be a 4th down.
Or 3rd and short.
It's going to be 3rd down. You're correct. 3rd down and 3. Armstrong thus far, I have him 7 carries for 18 yards. That is, of course, unofficial.
Huge penetration by Snoblin there. He got into the backfield, messed up kind of the mesh, and then Holiday came in and cleaned it up.
3rd down and 3 for the Olathe South. Hands off to Armstrong, and he's going to be short of the 1st down. Hey, Great Bend thought the ball was loose again. It's going to be a 4th down for Olathe South and another decision for head coach Ron Litchfield, as that time Armstrong only got about a yard out to the 46.
Well, he tried to bounce, but just a great job by Trent Kern there of coming in and then flattening out down the line of scrimmage from the backside linebacker position and to stop the ball carrier for a loss.
2:03 to play first quarter. Great Bend on top by a score of 20-0. This time, Armstrong gets the ball, and he's across the 45 out to the 49-yard line. That will be a 1st down for Olathe South, and they'll continue this drive as that's a 4-yard gain for Max Armstrong.
Well, and the Panther defense did a nice job there. They held their ground long enough. Inslee was fighting off a block at the point of impact, and unfortunately Armstrong just had enough momentum to barely get the 1st down.
1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. There's a pass out of the flat. It's going to be dropped, bobbling the football. That was the tight end, Will Yadell. He had it for a little bit but couldn't come up with it. Pass was he had to lean over. The pass goes incomplete to bring up a 2nd down and 10.
And that's a nice job again there by Holiday, getting a lot of pressure back there on Lee in the backfield.
Olathe South, we have 1:37 to play in quarter number 1. The Falcons are moving to left to right here. Sean Bear and Mike Hesher from Great Bend's Memorial Stadium. There's a pass over the middle, and they go back to number 19. He makes the catch this time, and he's inside the 35-yard line. That's the best play from scrimmage for Olathe South. And did not have that young man earlier, but that is Trey Hayes, and he's got a catch. That is a good for a 1st down to the 34-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 16. Back to pass. There's a pass out on the near sideline and wrapped up immediately. It's going to be a loss on the play. Catch made by the Falcons. That was Jalen Long, a 6'4", 185-pounder junior. That's going to be a loss of about 4 on the play.
Excellent play there by Hall. That's the way you do it. You don't wait around and wait to get blocked. You get through the blocker, straight to the ball carrier, and drop him for a tackle for a loss.
That is a loss on the play. Bring up a 2nd down. Ball outside the 35-yard line at the 36 for Olathe South. Now they hand off to Armstrong. He breaks a couple tackles, but the Panthers going to be driving him back as he broke initial couple tackles, but the Panthers right there, and that's going to be no gain on the play. Bring up a 3rd down and 12. Olathe South at the Great Bend, the 37-yard line.
Michael Montoya and Jacob Hall, just a fine job of getting through the line of scrimmage and stopping Armstrong in the backfield. 2
receivers split to either side for the Falcons out of Olathe South. As looking over to the head coach is Gage Lee. Head coach is Ron Litchfield in his 3rd year. It is final 17 seconds here of quarter number 1. Great Bend on top 20-0. Snap back to Lee. Looking downfield. Has plenty of time this time. Looking over the field. Now he's going to scramble. He did pretty good last week, and he makes a man miss. He's inside the 25-yard line down to the 24. Going to be about a yard short, but it's going to be a big game and bring up a 4th and 1 as the horn sounds, ending the first quarter of play. What a quarter of play it was for the Great Bend Panthers. They're able to capitalize on some Olathe South mistakes, and they lead at 20-0 after 12 minutes. We'll be right back to Memorial Stadium after this. Panther Sports is powered by Equity Bank. They never forget it's your money.
Scott's Welding is proud to support Panther Sports. Scott's Welding is fully insured, has certified welders with 24-hour service. For reliable service and community spirit at Scott's Welding, look for the signs west of 10th and Patton Road, Great Bend. Go Panthers!
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff.
Great Bend Panther football is on your station that rocks. B1043, The Point.
Right around 7:30 on your Friday evening. We do appreciate you spending part of your Friday evening with us. And the 5A Great Bend capitalizing on some 6A Olathe South mistakes, and they lead at 20-0 after the first 12 minutes. Sean Bear, the Panthers could not have scripted a better start to the contest.
Absolutely not. They're getting great play, again, on special teams, great coverage down there. They were advantageous and covered up a fumble on the opening kickoff. Their offense was taking advantage of a couple of key turnovers and were able to put points on the board. Defensively, the Panthers have done extremely well of limiting what Armstrong is getting, and they've forced Olathe South to in several 4th and short situations, and to start off the second quarter, here's another one at 4th and 1.
From the 24-yard line, Olathe South in Great Bend territory, they have the full house backfield, and jumping is the Olathe South Falcons. That'll be a penalty against the Panthers. Jumping there was Ricardo Ramos, a 205-pound senior, and that'll back up the Olathe South Falcons 5 yards. And unofficially, I have them 3 penalties for 15 yards. They had one that was disqualified because it was offsetting penalties, and that's the only penalty Great Bend has had thus far. That was offset.
Well, just a nice job right there holding your water. Again, it's the same situation. Trying to get a freebie, you got to be coached up to make sure that you stay in your stance and don't give a free first down.
4th down and 5 with the 29-yard line. Back to pass is Gage Lee. He's going to scramble as he breaks one tackle. He makes a man miss. He's inside the 20, now inside the 15. Nice move there by Gage Lee, the 6'1", 180-pound junior. He has a gain of several, and it'll be first down, and the ball spotted at the 13-yard line for Olathe South. Give him a gain of 11.
Fantastic job right there by the Panther defense. The secondary covered up all the receivers. Unfortunately, Lee was athletic enough to make a few Panthers miss and pick up that first down.
Snap goes back to Armstrong, right up the middle. Armstrong inside the 5, down to the 4. Running strong is Max Armstrong. Will give him a gain of 8 on the play. And it's going to be second down and short for Olathe South inside the Great Bend 5-yard line.
And South isn't trying to hide what they're doing. They've got 3 guys in the backfield, and they're going right behind them with Armstrong.
Direct snap back to Max Armstrong, and he's barreling, and the official on the far sideline is going to say nope, he didn't quite make it. Down to the 1. That'll be a gain of 3 on the play. Bring up a third down from the 1-yard line for Olathe South.
This is one of those trench wars right here where who can stay lower, who can get lower, and Panther defensive line, can you stop the ball movement?
Just inside the 1-yard line, and Armstrong is into the black end zone for the touchdown. As Olathe South able to capitalize on that drive, and they're able to put their first points on the board with 10:55 to play second quarter. Great Bend leads at 20-6 as we await the Olathe South point after touchdown attempt.
In Olathe South, a lot of times we call that the snow plow offensive scheme. It's where all the offensive linemen step and slide one way, and they go shoulder to shoulder, and just like a big snowplow, they just push everything off the defensive line, and all they needed was 1 yard, and they were able to get that.
Cooper Hodak on for the PAT. His kick is up, and this one will be true. And Olathe South able to get on the scoreboard. And with 10:55 to play in the second quarter, Great Bend 20, Olathe South 7. We'll be right back to Memorial Stadium with more Great Bend Olathe South football. GBHS and Panther Sports, powered by Equity Bank. They never forget it's your money.
Do you need some trees removed, fill dirt or rock for landscaping or driveway? Maybe you need some demolition work done or a giant waste container. Whatever the job, make the call to Stone Sand Company and Stone Waste Management, 421 Washington Street in Great Bend.
Beef, it's what's for dinner. America's taste for beef continues to grow, and much of that nutritious product is produced here in our local community. Innovative Livestock Services, Ward Feed Yard, Great Bend Feeding, and Barton County Feeders are proud to support area athletes in today's game.
The official home of Panther football is B1043, The Point.
Exactly. Back at Memorial Stadium as the Olathe South Falcons get on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. A 2-yard touchdown run by Max Armstrong. He had 4 last week against Mill Valley, give him 5 on the season, and Great Bend's lead has been trimmed to 20-7. And all the action this far has been on the north side of the football field. This kickoff is into the end zone, and Great Bend will start 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Sean Bear, I think that touchdown, we might have a game now.
Well, and if you really think about it, the defense is playing great. They've been able to exploit us a little bit on some coverage or should I say containment issues when our coverage was true in the secondary. We lost contain to the quarterback, and he was able to get a couple of big runs. And then really all they've done is they've just come up with a sledgehammer and been able to drive us back a little bit when they go to that full house backfield with an additional tailback behind it.
Great Bend moving left to right here as we play in the second quarter. Lights starting to take effect here at Memorial Stadium. They're going to hand off to Cooper Omont. He turns and is going to be tackled from behind, but he's across the 20 out to the 24-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 4 for Cooper Omont. It'll be a 2nd down and 6 for Great Bend.
Right there, they're trying to get Cooper Omont to be able to use his speed around to the short side of the field, and unfortunately we didn't get the end sealed off, and he was able to come up and force Omont up inside, which allowed the linebackers to clean the house.
2nd down and 6 for GBHS. They're in their black uniforms, white numerals. Olathe South defender jumps, but he gets back. Now everybody looks over to head coach Aaron Beck to see what he wants to do as they change up the play. Play clock down to 5, and now we're going to have a timeout. That will be the 2nd timeout of the evening taken by the Great Bend Panthers. And head coach, there's going to be a timeout called by Olathe South. 10:18 to play in the first half. Great Bend on top of Olathe South by a score of 20-7. Great Bend Sports brought to you in part by People's Bank and Trust, Comfort Forum, Delgado's Mexican Restaurant, the Great Bend Rec, and Edward Jones. And we have not had a winner yet in the score first, so I believe you can still text. I not have been informed that we have a winner, but you can text or call. Yeah, you can text 620-6396-WIN. That's 620-639-6946, and you can win a free meal of your choice from Delgado's menu. That number 620-639-6946. Timeout on the field. Great Bend having a great first quarter, but Olathe South answers with a touchdown here to start the second quarter, and the Panthers on top by a score of 20-7, just underway in the second quarter.
Well, and if there's anybody worried about what the Jayhawks are doing tonight at halftime, KU 17, UNLV 13.
I wasn't. I'm worried about the Royals, but that's okay. Minton rolls out, had the pass, needs to be defended, looking for Ian Premer, and a nice job defensively for the Olathe South Falcons. That was Xavier Tillman. Looked like he knocked the ball away from Ian Premer. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 6 for Great Bend at their own 24-yard line.
Olathe South did a nice job of getting into our receivers' hip pockets there on that play, and as our receivers came across the field, dragging from the short side to the wide side, really there was nowhere for Daxton to throw that football, and tried to seam it into Premer, but great coverage was able to knock that down.
Unofficially for Daxton Minton, I have him 3 out of 5 passing the football for 41 yards. Shotgun formation just off the left hip of Minton is Cooper Omont. Pass on the near sideline to Jacob Hall. Hall makes a man miss. He's across the 30. That'll be a good for a Panther first down. Officials say he stayed inbounds on the near sideline. That'll be a gain of about 6 on the play, but it is a good for a Panther first down. And I think this is an important drive for Great Bend. Take some time off the clock.
Absolutely. Take some time off the clock. You want to go down and you want to answer their score with a score, but really nice play right there by Premer and Omont on the outside perimeter blocking, allowing Hall to make the one defender miss, gobble up about 6 yards, and pick up a first down.
32-yard line is where the pigskin is spotted as Great Bend moves it left to right here, or that would be north to south at Memorial Stadium. Not a bad crowd from across the way from Olathe South, about a 3.5, 4-hour drive. Hand off right up the middle. Chase Sharks makes a man miss, runs over a man, and he's across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 11 as Jay Sharks with his 2nd carry of the game, and it's a first down for Great Bend.
Nice job by that interior offensive line for the Panthers of getting a low pad level and really popped Sharks right through the middle, and the secondary and linebackers had to step up and make that initial contact 3 to 4 yards down the field.
Jay Sharks coming off that last week against McPherson, 9 carries, 141 yards and a touchdown. That's his 2nd carry tonight, good for 11 yards. Great Bend with their 2nd first down of the possession. Ball at the 43-yard line for GBHS. Pass on the near sideline to Hall. Hall makes a man miss, and he's stiff arms another man is across the 45 to the 46-yard line. That'll be a gain of 3. 2nd down and 7 for GBHS.
Panthers are just popping the ball out here on the wide side of the field, trying to get a one-on-one matchup. And that time Tillman was able to get by Premer on the outside and make a good contact, good open field tackle on Hall.
Unofficially, Jacob Hall, 3 receptions, 50 yards, and a touchdown thus far. As Great Bend breaks the huddle, 2 receivers to the far, 1 and 2 to the near. Ball at the 46-yard line, GBHS in their own territory. 2nd down and 7. And Tina Stout will be having some Delgado's food. There's a handoff right up the middle and across the midfield stripe. Ball loose on the field, and the official from the far sideline using that index finger to say, oh, no, he was on the ground. So Great Bend with the ball across the midfield stripe. That'll be a gain of 5. Bring up a 3rd down and 3.
Nice block, Aiden Davidson. I think the guys call him AD. He was able to get down there, get across, chip off his guard and go on to the second level and wall off a linebacker and allow Sharks to pick up good yardage on that running play.
8:05 to play, first half. Great Bend on top by a score of 20-7. Ball just across the midfield stripe at the Olathe South 49-yard line. 3rd down and 3 as Dak Smith in the shotgun formation, and now everybody's looking over to the head coach, Aaron Beck, and Aaron puts those hands together in a T and says, we're going to take a timeout, so we will as well. 7:53 to play, quarter number 2. Great Bend with a big first quarter leads at 20-7. We'll be right back to Memorial Stadium in Great Bend. Panther Sports powered by Equity Bank. In quarter number 2, as the white-cladded Olathe South Falcons jog back out onto the field after the timeout taken by Aaron Beck and Great Bend. That is the 2nd timeout used by Great Bend. They have not been called for a penalty yet to have the Panthers, so playing another clean game tonight. Ball just across the midfield strike. Minton gets the snap, just comes to the near sideline, and he's going to be really close to a 1st down. He says he got it, but looking at the official across the far way, he's going to be about a half a yard short, I believe, and that'll bring up a 4th down for Great Bend.
I think they're going to have to bring the chains all the way across the field, because that's going to be very close. I think maybe we're just shy of the 47, and we need to be engulfed over the 47.
Was it John Madden that always used to say that was the old left foot, right foot? If they put the left foot down, it's a 1st down. If it's the right foot, it's not.
And that's pretty much what it is.
Yes, it is. So they will trot across the field here as they measure. Chance to tell you that Great Bend Sports on B1043 The Point, where thank you for joining us tonight, is brought to you by Edward Jones, Dom White Testing, University of Kansas Health System, the Fieldhouse, Scott's Welding Service, and American Plains Co-op. Thank all those people as they bring you Great Bend High School sports on B1043 The Point. Mike Hesher along with Sean Baird, privileged to bring you Great Bend High School football this season. It's about 5 chain links short.
Yep.
You were right. They got to get across the 47-yard line, and the ball's going to be like just outside the 47-yard line, so it's going to be a 4th down and short for Great Bend.
You know, this play has a lot of bearing with it, because there's a little bit of momentum that can swing if you go for it on 4th down and don't get it. You don't want to let that momentum swing and get the other direction. But my gosh, 5 inches, you'd like to think that with all those skill positions and all those talented players, that you would be able to get up under center and just drive somebody forward for the 5 inches and get the 1st down.
See what Aaron Beck has in mind. It is the 9th season coaching Great Bend, 42-37. We'll see what he has in mind here on a 4th and inches. Ball just outside the 47-yard line. Great Bend in Olathe South territory. Officials now signal play, ready, And we'll see what Great Bend is. Minton's going to be under center, and he's just going to sneak it, and he's going to have plenty of the first down. He's inside the 45, down to the 43-yard line. What a push by Inslee, Current, Brown, Davidson, and Kaiser, the big boys up front.
And that's just it. You keep your helmet below your waist level, and you drive forward and get as much as you can on that. If you stand up, the play is lost. Offensive line did a fantastic job there in the trenches.
Ball inside the 45 at the 44-yard line. So GBHS, as we mentioned, we both think this is a pretty important drive for GBHS. After leading 20-0, Olathe South made it 20-7 with a touchdown. But Great Bend has taken this drive all the way from their 20 inside the Olathe South 45-yard line. 7:05 to play, and now whistles blow, and Olathe South will utilize a timeout. 7:04 to play in the first half. We're going to go ahead and keep it here for this particular timeout. Chance to tell you that Great Bend Sports brought to you by Farmers Bank and Trust, Innovative Livestock Services, the Marmy Auto Group, Empire Realty, and Advanced Sport Therapy and Sports Medicine.
Well, we better go ahead and give the Wildcats their time on the air too, and it looks like K-State is up right now over Arizona 14-7 with about 10 minutes left in the second quarter.
That'd be a big win for the Cats.
That would be. That would, Arizona, that would welcome them to the Big 12 in fine fashion.
I heard that this is not an official Big 12 game. It's still a non-conference game, even though they're in the same conference. That's what I heard. I heard this on a sports talk show out of Kansas City. I cannot verify that, but these guys I listen to out of Kansas City usually know what they're talking about. So.
Well, and that's interesting because if typically you're scheduled out by 2 years.
Exactly.
And so this might have been scheduled prior to, and it doesn't fall within the normal Big 12 schedule. So I can see where that would maybe throw a little hip. And I do have to note, it's kind of weird sitting up here and having Tim Free sit in the stands with the rest of the parents. I hope they all keep themselves under control because I'm sure he'll keep them going. 30 years on the sidelines, I'm sure it's a little bit different for him.
Times have changed, haven't they? 1st and 10 for Great Bend at the Olathe 44-yard line. Toss to Omok as he comes back around. He makes a nice move. He's inside the 40, right at the numbers. Now we have a late flag as Omok got to the 39. And I believe we're going to have a hold, this one going against GBHS. So that will be the first accepted penalty against the Panthers.
And that's kind of a rough call because I think the defender that we had held was able to break away, and he was the guy that Omok juked and got by to pick up the 5 yards. So the hold happened actually before the defender even was involved with the play.
Stay with us at halftime. We'll bring you some stats. They're brought to you by Dr. Chad Omot, DDS. 10-yard penalty. The ball back across it will be across the midfield stripe. It'll be placed at the Great Bend 46-yard line. Great Bend able to capitalize on some sloppy play by Olathe South in the first quarter. Led at 20-0. Olathe South able to make a long drive to start the second quarter and made it 20-7. That's where we stand right now. 6:45 and the clock running. Great Bend at home next week as they will take on Buhler. 3 straight home games for the Panthers. Buhler next week, and the week after that, Wichita North, before they go to Dodge City and then that fun trip to Liberal. And now we're going to have a timeout as Jacob Hall stands up, looks at the official about 3 yards from him, calls a timeout with 6:28 to play first half. Great Bend 20, Olathe South 7. We'll be right back to Memorial Stadium in Great Bend after this. Great Bend Sports is powered by Equity Bank.
One day we can be quiet games to make Papa stay proud, but we certainly won.
Lending, home loans, and mobile banking to participation in the activities that make a community strong. We're proud to help bring you this Panther broadcast. Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Great Bend Panther football is on your station that rocks. B1043, The Point.
Side Sean Bear, I'm Mike Hesher, bringing you tonight's action from Great Bend's Memorial Stadium. 20-7, Great Bend with the advantage. The Panthers, as I mentioned, had 20 first-half points. They capitalized the opening kickoff that was mishandled by Olathe South. It was a 4-yard touchdown run by Daxton Minton at the 11:15 mark. And then they were able to get a pass from Cooper Omot to a Jacob Hall of 40 yards. A great catch by Omot in the end zone. That made it 12-0. And then another touchdown at the 5:18 mark made it 20-0 before Olathe South scored early stages of the second quarter. And there's a handoff to Jace Sharts. Jace across the midfield stripe down to about the 47-yard line. So he gets a large portion of the penalty back. Ball will be at the Olathe South 47. That's a gain of 7. Bring up a second down and 13.
You know, I just can't get used to seeing Ian Premer in a three-point stance. He's one of your biggest threats to go down the field. But I will tell you right there on that play, Ian Premer fired off the football and got right in White's lower half and drove him 6 or 7 yards off the football and gave Jay Sharts all kinds of running room over here on the right side of the offensive line.
Talking to Aaron Beck a little bit before this morning, he was talking about that's what Mill Valley did for all their yardage. They're passing the flat to Omok. He gets a couple yards to the 45. It's going to be short of the original line of scrimmage, so it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 11 for Great Bend at the Olathe South 45.
By design, that play is just to get the ball to the outside in one of your skill positions, one of your best skill position players' hands, and let him go one-on-one with the secondary defender who's coming up and trying to play. If he misses, it's a big play, but unfortunately for the Panthers, he was able to stop Cooper for a very, very short, minimal gain.
3rd down and long. Ball at the Olathe South 45-yard line. Great Bend moving it left to right here, as they're just off to the side of the Panther logo here on the field turf at GBH Memorial Stadium. Has being pressured, and the ball is dropped. As being pressured was Daxton Minton, and he got it out to the near sideline to Cooper Omont, and Omont just had the ball go through his hands. He bobbled it once or twice, couldn't hold on. That'll bring up a 4th down and 11, and it looks like Aaron Beck will send on the punting team.
Well, the play before, White did a good job, or really, I guess Premer did a good job of driving White off the line of scrimmage. On that play, Premer released down the field, which opened up the door for White, and White was able to put a lot of pressure on Daxton Minton over there. Good job by Cooper Omok to come back. He'd have been a little bit short of the yard to gain, but was unfortunately not able to bring that one in.
Trent Kern back in punt formation for GBHS. Last week, 4 punts for 45 yards. There's a high kick. It's going to hit at about the 20-yard line, take a great Bend bounce, and it's going to be picked up finally by the Olathe South return man. And right there to meet him for the Panthers, that was Jay Sharts. And Olathe South, almost made another mistake, but the punt returner able to hang on to the ball, but Olathe South will start this drive 1st and 10 at their own 10-yard line. 4:45 to play in quarter number 2.
Nice job by Conrad Bordy and Michael Montoya to get down there in coverage and be right in the returner's face when he decided to grab the ball. I guess he had figured that those extra 10 yards were something because Great Bend was going to be able to pin them within the 5-yard line.
1st and 10 for Olathe South. They're moving it right to left, or faking the handoff. This is Gage Lee. He's right up the middle, and he's out across the 25-yard line, close to the 26. They're going to spot it right at the 26. A big run there by quarterback Gage Lee for the Olathe South Falcons. Be 1st and 10.
Well, that was a little misdirection. Again, the Panthers have keyed so hard on Armstrong that Lee was able to pull that ball out of Armstrong's midriff and bounce to the wide side and pick up the 1st down.
Ball at the 26-yard line. Olathe South in their white uniforms. This time they fake the handoff again and right up the middle. Same play, and Lee across the 35-yard line, and they're going to spot it right at the 35-yard line. This will be a gain of 9, 2nd down and 1, and in 2 plays, Olathe South has advanced from the 10 out to the 35.
That little misdirection is carving the Panther defense up right now. They've done a great job with a normal formation of keeping Armstrong in hat. But right now they're throwing a little wrinkle at him by having the quarterback pull it.
Shotgun formation this time. He'll drop back to pass after faking the handoff. He's going to go deep down the field as a spiral. Ball's up for grabs, and it's going to be, what a catch! Catch made out there by Anthony Harris, and he's going to take it into the end zone for the Olathe South touchdown. That ball hung up there, but Anthony Harris at 6'3", 175, he just kind of outstretched the Great Bend defender and makes the catch, and Olathe South right back in this contest at the 3:42 mark. It's 20-13 as we await the PAT.
Boy, you could not ask for better coverage by the Great Bend secondary. Cooper Omok was right in the hip pocket of the intended receiver. Looked like he was going to be there to break up the play pretty easily, but it looked like their feet kind of got tangled, and all of a sudden the receiver was able to gather himself and jump up over the top while Cooper was trying to gather himself and stay on his feet.
65-yard touchdown passes. The PAT is good. And just like that, the Olathe South Falcons, after stopping Great Bend at the 10-yard, having the 1st and 10 from their own 10, they go 90 yards in about 4 plays, and it's 20-14. The Great Bend Panthers' lead has been trimmed to 6 with 3:42 to play in the first half.
Well, we had alluded earlier that was a pretty big drive that the Panthers were on. For Olathe South, that was equally as important of a drive to be able to have stopped the Panthers and then come out and quickly put points on the board. They got it in one play, but the Panthers just need to right here focus on a long sustained drive that'll close out the half and hopefully end by putting some points on the board.
Unofficially for quarterback Gage Lee, I have him now. That is 4 out of 6 throwing the football and 101 yards. That's a big play there. As we talked about, Anthony, that was good coverage by the Panthers, but Anthony Harris just able to make the catch and then able to slip by the Great Bend defender and into the end zone for the 65-yard touchdown. And Olathe South pulls to within 6 at 20-14. Ball is in the air, and it's going to be a low line drive, goes into the end zone, so Great Bend will have a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Nice directional kick there away from Omok. They didn't want to take a chance on having special teams come through and get a big play and force the Panthers to come out offensively, get something going, and drive 80 yards.
Beautiful night for football here in Great Bend. Like we mentioned, next week Great Bend will be at home as they take on Buhler. For Olathe South, they get to stay in the Kansas City area next week. They will take on Olathe Northwest. So I'm guessing that's probably not a very far drive across Johnson County. As Great Bend, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Up front for the Panthers, they still stick with their starters, Inslee, Kern, Brown, Davidson, and Kaiser. Fake the handoff pass is almost intercepted, deflected out there by the Olathe South. That was Jordan Berry with the deflection, and it's going to bring by 2nd down and 10 after the incomplete pass.
Well, and the Panthers are going to they're not willing to stick their noses up inside against that defensive line for Olathe South. Instead, they're trying to pick out here on a few of these defenders, trying to get, again, man one-on-one with some of our skill positions and see if we can't slip a tackle and bust a big one.
Dak Smith in shotgun formation, got 3 receivers to the near side, to the far. Mitten will fake the draw. Now he's going to be pressured and run out. He still fights through a couple of tackles. What a job staying on his feet by Daxton Minton. He took a sure 4 or 5 yard loss and gained 3 on the play, bring up a 3rd down and 7 for GBHS.
That's one of the things Minton's really good at is when he decides to tuck that football, he's a little bit hard to get a clean shot on, and it sure did look like coming from the back sides that White was going to close in and make a tackle for a loss, but Minton's able to kind of do a leg slip and break that tackle and ended up picking up 2 or 3 yards.
3:30 to play, 2nd quarter. Great Bend on top by a score of 20-14. They led at 20-0, but Olathe South has answered with 14 straight to cut the deficit to 6 here, late stages of quarter number 2. Shotgun formation, Minton back to pass, has plenty of time now, is going to go deep downfield, and there's going to be nobody there. So Olathe South able to get Great Bend on a 3 and out, and the Panthers will have to punt. 3:23 to play 2nd quarter, and Olathe South going to get the football back.
Well, that's unfortunate. The Panthers had a couple of guys open down there on that sideline. It looked like we tried to air it up. And the thing is that with a safety back deep, you don't want to put a lot of air under it so that safety can come up underneath there. It's more of we call it a medium throw, so you don't want it going real high. You want it to get out there on a plane. And I think even if that ball would have been underthrown, we'd have been in great shape.
Trent Kern in punt formation on the 4th down. He's standing back at the 7-yard line, gets the ball away. It's a low line drive. It's going to take a Great Bend hop as the defender will pick it up, and he tries to split a couple of Great Bend defenders, but he's going to be dropped right at the 40-yard line where he picked it up on the return for Olathe South. That was the Falcons' Elijah Mullen. He is a 6', 155-pound senior. So Olathe South, 1st and 10 at their own 41-yard line. They just went 90 yards in 4 or 5 plays. We'll see what they can do here late stages of the first half.
Panther defense needs to come up big here, not give away any big plays.
Ball at the 41-yard line. Olathe South moving it right to left. In shotgun formation is their quarterback. He had a couple early runs on that last possession before it connecting with Anthony Harris for a 65-yard touchdown. Bad snap, but he's able to pick it up as Gage Lee now tries to scramble, and it's going to be brought down by Connor Holiday of the Great Bend defense. Gain about 4 on the play out to the 45. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 6.
Almost looks like the Panthers are trying to play a little bit of a man-free look here, or 2 safeties up over the top, man under. And the problem with that is boy, you sure do give a running lane to Lee if he decides to tuck and take off.
Gage Lee, the 6', 180-pound junior for Olathe South, passed out in the flat, taken by Max Armstrong. Armstrong across the midfield stripe and pushed out of bounds on the 4 sideline at the 45. That's going to be a gain of 10 and a 1st and 10 for Olathe South inside Great Bend territory at the 45.
Well, when you need a big play, what do? You get the ball to Armstrong, a little swing pass out there, and it looked like one of the Panthers had a pretty good shot to hit him for a loss, but took a poor angle and had to have Premer come up from a safety position to make the stop.
Ball at the Great Bend 45-yard line. Another pass and making a catch at the 41 and immediately drilled on the far sideline with the catch for Olathe South. That was Trey Hayes with the catch. He was immediately met. That's a gain of 6 on the play. Gain of 4 will be a 2nd down and 6. Ball at the 41-yard line. Same play. They slipping this one out and making a man miss on the far sideline. That is Owen Olson with his first catch of the evening. Owen Olson is a 6'1", 160-pound senior.
You know, the Olathe South offense, they're able to get up there and they go quickly, which puts a lot of pressure on your defense. You've got to know what the heck you're doing out there, and you got to be able to communicate from play to play.
Ball at the 35-yard line. Olathe South moving the football here in the second quarter while Great Bend dominated the first quarter. There's a screen pass over the middle. Catch made by Anthony Harris. He's going to be down to the 20-yard line. That's going to be a pickup of 15. And Olathe South right now just carving up the Panther defense.
Little wide receiver screen out there. Again, they do a little play action in the backfield, keeps our linebackers up tight and has them step in, which creates a running lane to the outside that they are able to capitalize on and pick up a 1st down.
Looks like there may be a flag on the play as the officials talk things over on the far sideline. Now one of the officials will talk it over with Ron Litzfield, third-year head coach of Olathe South.
It's probably one of those situations where he's trying to plead his case that the ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage and they could go downfield and block. But actually, they had a lineman that went downfield.
That'll be the 4th penalty against Olathe South, and that will, for now, slow down this drive for Olathe South. We have 2:04 to play in quarter number 2. Great Bend scored the first 20 points of the game. Olathe South has come back with the next 14, and that's where we stand at the 2:04 mark. Three receivers split to the near side, one to the far. As Armstrong behind quarterback Lee. As Lee back to pass, looking now, he's going to scramble. This is where he did some damage earlier. He's running, trying to get to the corner, makes a turn up at the boundary, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 35. That's going to be a gain of about 10, and they're back to the original line of scrimmage. So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 for Olathe South at the Great Bend 35.
Again, the secondary did a great job of locking down the receivers for Olathe South, and Lee was forced to come around the outside and just try to pick up what he could.
Shotgun formation, 3 receivers to the far, 2 to the near. As in shotgun formation is Gage Lee. Steps up, talks to his offensive line now, settles back. He's 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and we're going to have a offensive tackle on the left side. I think moved just a tad early. It wasn't bad, but that's Juju Marks. He's a 6'6", 290-pound senior who has committed to play at KU.
That is one big gentleman. I will tell you that from my perspective. And, you know, AD, Aiden Davidson, isn't a small guy, but when you see him up compared to him, Juju, that's a pretty big, I won't say mismatch.
6'6", 290. There's a pass out in the flat that goes through the hands of Max Armstrong. And thus far, Great Bend has done a nice job of limiting Max Armstrong running and catching the football. Unofficially, I have him 14 carries for 43 yards and a couple of catches for 18. Last week, he went for 216 rushing and 53 passing. Big 3rd down play here for Olathe South and the Great Bend defense. It's a 3rd down, 15. Ball at the GBH 40-yard line. Under 2 minutes to play here in quarter number 2. Gage Lee, the junior quarterback. In motion goes the receiver. Back to pass is Lee looking downfield, has a man open across the field, and he was open for a little bit, but stepping in defensively for Great Bend. Looks like it was Jackson Wandra, and that made the pass go to the turf incomplete. It's going to bring up a 4th down and 15 for Olathe South with 1:40 to play in the first half.
And we just spoke about the matchup, and great job right there by Aiden Davis to get through around Juju over here on the wide side of the field and put all kinds of pressure on Lee and force the errant pass.
They're going to drop back into punt formation. If I was Aaron Beck and the Panthers, I don't know if I would buy this. With 1:40 to play at the 40-yard line. The snap goes through. Great Bend almost had the block. He kind of rugby-styled that kick away. There was 3 defenders, rushers for Great Bend getting close to the block, but the ball is going to be out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Great Bend will have it with $1:36 to play. And now you might have heard some of the fans not happy with the spot there.
You know, and that's kind of it's a unique deal. What happens is that back judge stands there and he marks where the ball lands on the out of bounds, and he stands, and then the side judge will walk up the line of scrimmage until those 2 points intersect, and that's where they mark the football. And it doesn't seem like it could be possibly right. There could be a lot of play in, but I guess over the years it's worked for football, so we'll just let that one keep standing.
It's been that for a lot of years.
It's been that way for a lot of years.
Time.
That's exactly right.
Looks like Great Bend has one time. Great Bend's used all their timeouts. Olathe South might have one left. So we'll see what Great Bend does here. The final 1:36 of the first half. GBHS on top. There's a handoff going to Jay Sharts. He makes a man miss. He breaks to the outside. He's across the 30. Oh, what a tackle. Nice tackle there by Olathe South, dragging down the Great Bend ball carrier. That was Brody Ruschke, and that was a big play because Jay Sharts had a lot of green turf if he got by the tackler.
One more high step, and I think he would have had the enough separation that he could have taken it to the rack.
Gain good enough for a first down for Great Bend. They go the other way with Sharts. He spins out of a tackle. He falls forward to the 44. That's going to be a pickup of just about 8. And unofficially now Jay Sharts, 6 carries for 41 yards. We have 1:04 to play in the first half. Great Bend, a couple nice runs here, getting out to the midfield stripe as the clock rolls with 55 seconds to play in the first half. Great Bend on top by a score of 20-14. And now before the snap is made, the officials drop the flag, blow the whistle, and the official says 5-yard penalty against Great Bend. I have that unofficially for Great Bend, their second penalty for 15 yards.
It's one of those situations you want to make sure you're getting up to the line of scrimmage, and if you're going to try to push and score before half, you definitely want to have a sense of urgency. But on the second hand, you also got to make sure that you're doing things correctly. And for instance, that flag right there could be the deciding factor that they just decide that they're going to go ahead and slow things out and not try to score and let the clock just expire here on this drive.
Go to the locker room, talk things over, and come out and play the second half. Daxton Minton looking over to the near sideline, got 3 coaches signaling in plays. He knows which one to look at. There's another flag as Minton flings it out to Cooper Omar. He makes the catch. He's out to the midfield stripe. We'll see what the flag is. They didn't stop the play, so we'll see what the call is. The ball is at the midfield stripe. That's going to be a gain of 13 if it stands.
Well, what happened was we had it looked like Premer was trying to figure out if he should have been in a little tighter in the formation, so he was moving towards the rest of the players towards the middle of the field while we had Omach coming into motion, and they both didn't stop. You have to stop and actually reset if you've got 2 players moving at the same time. So it was an illegal shift, and the Panthers will have to back up a little bit further.
That pushes the ball inside the
would have been nice if we could have got a 10-second runoff.
There's only 17 seconds to play now, so we'll see what GBHS decides to do. They had a pretty good start to this drive, but penalties have been an issue here after the first 2 or 3 plays. And what looked like a promising late second quarter scoring drive for Great Bend has turned into maybe let's just kneel down and go to the locker room, but we'll see what Aaron Beck has in mind. He's got 3 receivers split to the far sideline, 1 to the near, and they're going to just hand it off to Chase Sharts, and he's going to be tackled in the backfield. That's going to be a loss of about 1 on the play, and the clock will hit zeros. And we played 24 minutes at Memorial Stadium, and Great Bend with a great start. But Olathe South coming back. It's 20-14 at GBHS after 24 minutes, and we'll be right back to start your halftime show for Great Bend as we bring you Great Bend High School football from Memorial Stadium alongside Sean Bear. I am Mike Hesher. Reminder of that Great Bend Sports is brought to you by
Tonight's halftime performance is brought to you by your Panther Dance Line. They will be performing a routine choreographed by Wichita State dancer Cindy Strong. Good luck, dancers. Your music is on. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a hand for the Panther Dance Line?
Sick photo. Yeah. Pretty sick.
Inspiring before and afters.
Well, it doesn't seem
The Panther Pride Band will be taking the field for your halftime entertainment. The band has been hard at work preparing for this season and will present our show opener for you this evening. Earlier this month, the band had performed the annual Hoytington Labor Day Parade, and on September 11th, we traveled to the State Fair to perform as part of Kansas' largest classroom event. The Panther Pride Band received 1 rating in parade performance and arena performance. Our show theme this year is May the Forte be with you, with music from the Star Wars saga. Tonight we will perform our opener including Star Wars theme, Imperial March, and the Throne Room. We dedicate tonight's performance to 2 great losses. Mr. Joe Bowley, former Great Bend band director and supporter, his presence will greatly be missed in the heart of the band community. Also, to James Earl Jones, famed voice of Darth Vader. The band is taught and directed by Grant Matthews, assistant director Kimberly Sims, and color guard instructors Melanie Manoff and Donna Becker. The band is assisted also by Aubrey Manoff. Thank you to our band parents and their help and support in making our band successful. Enjoy our halftime performance. Drum majors Abby Melson and Anderson Luttrell take it away.
Definitely a move.
Deep touchdown pass, and beyond that, the offense just kind of sputtered along. We got to figure out if we're going to be able to run the ball up the middle, or are we going to pick away on the outside and try to every once in a while exploit the interior defensive line there and get behind our big offensive line and try to pull some of those secondary players into the box so we can quote unquote go on the offensive. I thought defense did a great job. Secondary was plugged in the whole half. We got beat on some quarterback scrambles, but that's the thing that you have to kind of it's a give and take. So you've got Armstrong 21, you've got to shut him down, so you expend bodies in the box to try to contain him, which leaves a secondary that's a little bit out there on an island, but the secondary is doing a fantastic job of shutting down the receivers for Olathe South. So what's hurting us is that all of a sudden, as soon as protection breaks down, Lee's able to tuck the ball away, and if he makes one guy miss, he's picking up chunks of yardage. So are you able to really grab one defender and put him as a spy on Lee? Is that going to throw off the ability to control Armstrong from getting outside? So I think basically that's the biggest thing, is that we've got to not let them exploit the middle of the field when they run their pass plays, because at that point in time what they're doing is the linebackers are so intrigued with stepping up into the line of scrimmage to stop the run that when they throw play action, all of a sudden the middle of the field's wide open, and they've been able to burn us a couple of times going right down the middle. So now what do we do to fix all this? Well, it all comes down to, at some point in time that offensive line has to say, hey, you know what? We may be outsized, but we're not outmanned and we're not outhearted. So we're going to come right at you, and you better be ready, because we're going to come out the second half. We're going to establish the run. We're going to let Minton go ahead and do a little finesse on the outside. And as you move to the outside, we're going to run it right down your throat. As you move to stop us on the inside, we're going to finesse you to the outside. And the Panther defense, all they've got to do is they've got to continue to maintain and force Armstrong up inside. Don't let him bounce. Force him up inside. Let our linebackers come up and clean up. But when we get into those pass situations, they've got to be able to put a spy and contain Lee.
Let's go ahead and check your first half stats, brought to you by Dr. Chad Obach, DDS, for the Great Bend Panthers. These are all unofficial numbers. Jay Sharp, 6 carries for 41 yards. I have Chad Obach, 2 carries for 4 yards. Daxton Minton, he has 4 carries for 12 yards. Minton, I have unofficially 7 out of 11 passing the football for 93 yards. And Chad Obach was 1 out of 1 passing for 40 yards and a touchdown. Minton also had a touchdown in there as well. Unofficial numbers receiving the ball, Ian Premer, 1 catch for 7 yards. It's been a big day for the Panthers at Jacob Hall. Jacob Hall unofficially 3 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. Chad Obach, 2 catches for 44 yards. Unofficial numbers for Great Bend. For the Olathe South Falcons, Max Armstrong, one of the top 15 players on the Kansas side in the KC metro area, according to the Kansas City Star. Last week, ran for 216. Tonight, Great Bend has held him to 43 yards on 14 carries. Quarterback Gage Lee has scrambled 7 times for 69 yards. Lee has done a nice job passing the football. Unofficially 10 out of 13 for 136, and that big touchdown to Anthony Harris. Catching the football, Armstrong, I have him 2 catches for 18 yards, and Harris unofficially 4 catches for 96 yards, and that 65-yard touchdown pass, as Great Bend leads at halftime by a score of 20-14. Halftime show with the stats at halftime brought to you by Dr. Chad Obach, DDS. Now we go and tell you that the halftime show is brought to you by Stone Sand Company, Stone Waste Management. We'll be right back to Great Bend's Memorial Stadium after this. Great Bend leads at 20-14. Panther Sports, powered by Equity Bank. They never forget it's your money.
This is Nathan at GB Tarp Company. We specialize in roll tarps, camper skirts, and custom solutions tailored for your needs. Durable, reliable, made to last. When your tarp wears out, give us a shout. GB Tarp Company, carrying genuine Sherco parts and accessories. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, or at gbtarpcompany.com.
This Great Bend High School Panther Sports broadcast is brought to you by Insurance Planning of Great Bend, Hayes, and Russell. Insurance Planning offers a full line of insurance products and risk management services for the way you work and live. Call Insurance Planning today in Great Bend, Hayes, or Russell.
Advanced Therapy in Sports Medicine is the athletic training and sports medicine provider for Panther Sports. On the field or off, you can count on Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine to get your life back. Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine, 4801 10th Street in Great Bend.
Plumbing and heating emergencies rarely happen between 9 and 5. That's why the pros at Comfort Pro are available 24/7, 365 to ensure your home stays warm and dry all year long. Comfort Pro is just a phone call away.
The official home of Panther football is B1043, The Point.
Alongside Sean Bear, I'm Mike Escher. Halftime of the Olathe South Great Bend football game, and Great Bend with a 20-point first quarter, Olathe South with a 14-point second quarter, and that's where we stand at intermission, 20-14. Other action I find it very interesting in the Western Athletic Conference tonight. Besides this game, two schools from Western Kansas went to the Olathe area. Dodge City is taking on Olathe East, and Garden City is taking on Olathe Northwest. That's a couple long drives.
I wouldn't want to be there unless I had a cheeseburger.
Sorry about that. That was on me. Okay. Sorry about that, Sean. Caught you napping. Liberal is hosting Wichita South. And then the big one is Hayes traveling to Wheat Ridge, Colorado to take on, now I love this nickname for the Wheat Ridge Farmers. They are the Wheat Ridge Farmers, and they're in Denver Metro.
I bet they take a lot of flack when they hit the road.
I bet they do, too.
I bet you're right.
I bet they don't have to move far. But the Central Kansas League tonight, Hoisington is taking on Heston in Hoisington. Larned at 1-0, taking on Hillsboro. Belle Plaine is at Smoky Valley. Pratt playing Halstead, and Nickerson is traveling to Haven. 11-man games, Ellenwood 1-0. They play Harrington. 8-man games across the area tonight. Victoria and Central Plains both 1-0. St. John at Nez City. Kinsley at Maxville. And La Crosse traveling to Logan Palco. And now in the 6-man games, a big one. Otis Bison taking on South Barber. Pawnee Heights playing Western Plains, and Northern Valley taking on Chase in 6-man action across the state of Kansas. Here, this is a 5A matchup between Great Bend and 6A Olathe South. As we mentioned, Great Bend with a great start, led at 20-0, and then Olathe South able to score 14 unanswered points in the second quarter, and they trail Great Bend 20-14 at halftime. Fine sponsors of Great Bend Sports this year include Next Tech. I think eating that burger at halftime wasn't a wise choice. Got me on that one, just like I caught you earlier. Also, Next Tech, Stone Sand Company, Stone Waste Management, Rosenberg Family Dentistry, Sutherland's, and Great Bend Ready Mix. Is just about ready for the start of the second half. We'll take our final break, and when we come back, second half action underway from Great Bend's Memorial Stadium. Panther Sports, powered by Equity Bank. They never forget it's your money.
You've been listening to the Stone Sand Company and Stone Waste Management Halftime Show. Second half action is next on B1043, The Point.
Ready to tackle that big project? Stone Sand Company and Stone Waste Management is your rock-solid partner in demolition and hauling. Right now, you can rent roll-off containers at a groundbreaking low price. Clean up's a breeze. Fill it, and they'll take care of the rest. Plus, they can deliver more than 50 types of rock and sand right to you. Transform your space with just a call. Visit StoneSandCompany.com for inspiring before and afters. Stone Sand Company and Stone Waste Management, 421 Washington in Great Bend. Building your dreams from the ground up.
Great Bend Panther Sports on B1043 The Point. Brought to you by Keller Real Estate and Insurance Agency, Equity Bank, the 10th Street Eye Care Center, People's Bank and Trust, Comfort Pro, Insurance Planning, Delgado's Mexican Restaurant, Edward Jones, Dom Pipe Testing, and the Great Bend Rec. And by the Field House, University of Kansas Health System, Scott's Welding Service, American Plains Co-op, Farmers Bank and Trust, Innovative Livestock Services, the Marmy Auto Group, Empire Realty, Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine, GB Tarp Company, and Freedom Claims Management. Panther Sports also brought to you by Coldwell banker Megan Wells, Advanced Truck and Diesel, Next Tech, Stone Sand Company, Stone Waste Management, Rosenberg Family Dentistry, Sutherland's, Great Bend Ready Mix, Kern Floor Service, Magna Dry Cleaning Services, Shelter Insurance, Chris Ramsey, and by Mitchell K. Haney and Associates. Panther Sports on B104.3 The Point.
Alongside Sean Bear, I'm Mike Hesher, ready for the second half. Great Bend and Olathe South from Memorial Stadium. Great Bend will get the football to start the second half, and Sean, I think this is an important opening drive for GBHS.
Absolutely. You want to set a tempo for the second half of what it's going to be like to play against the Panthers.
Ball is in the air, and this one's going to hit at the 5 and go into the end zone. That is black with the turf, and has Great Bend spelled out in red across the way. That is to the north end of the field. So Great Bend will start 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. And it seems like most of the action is taken on this end of the field.
Well, it is, and it's kind of nice because that's the angle that I'm sitting at. So it's making it a little bit easier to call for me. But and plus it seems like the wind's always in the faces of the offenses.
It's all about you, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. Just ask my wife.
As long as we make it about you. First and 10 for Great Bend. Up front for the Panthers. Done a nice job. Blaine Inslee, Trent Kern, Carter Brown, Aiden Davidson, and Owen Kaiser. Snap back to Minton. Minton, a little floor pass to Omok. Omok makes a man miss and then pushed out of bounds at the 25-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 5. Second down and 5 for Great Bend.
I like that. Come out with a little bit of finesse, and what that's going to do is it's just going to end up softening up the interior line, and at some point you're going to have to go ahead and go mano a mano and bigs on bigs. But I like the way they're starting it out. They're aggressive and they're trying to drive the football.
Give them a game of 6 on the play. Bring them a second down and 4. Nose of the football just at the Great Bend 26-yard line as they move it left to right here. Beautiful night for football into the Golden Belt. 3 receivers split to the far, and we're going to have flags fly, and it's going to be a legal procedure against the Great Bend Panthers. So this will push them back 5 yards, and it'll bring up a second down and 9.
Not sure if somebody moved or if actually there just weren't enough men on the line of scrimmage. The Panthers definitely had an overload to the wide side of the field of receivers, and quite honestly, Olathe South didn't have enough guys over there. So if we'd have got to be able to run that play and shot a quick screen out there, we make 1 or 2 blocks, and that was going to be a big play.
Unofficially for Great Bend, 4th penalty for 25 yards. 3 receivers will go out to the far sideline. Looks like Ian Premer out to the near side here on a second down and 9. The ball at the 21-yard line. Quick snap to Daxton Minton. He scrambles around, now looks, now fakes it, now pass over the middle. Wide open is Jay Sharts across the middle. He's out to the 40-yard line. Nice job of scrambling and then finally finding his man, Jay Sharts, who went about down 10, 15 yards and sat in the middle of the field, and Minton got in the football.
That's a great job by Minton. You know, from an offensive lineman standpoint, that is so hard to do because you're holding your block and you don't want to release down the field, especially if he's going to pass. But Minton did a good job of just kind of buying time, and credit Sharts for slipping in behind and picking up that big first down.
Unofficially, 19-yard gain on the play. 1st and 10, Great Bend at their own 40-yard line, just underway here. Quarter number 3. Great Bend on top by a score of 20-14. Minton gets the snap, looks downfield, and is going to go deep. Has a couple of men down there. Ian Premer wide open, makes the catch at the 25, and then is twirled down to the turf at the 21-yard line. Big play for Great Bend, and the Panthers 1st and 10 inside of the 25 at the 21 of Olathe South.
And great job right there by Daxton Minton. That was the play they had late in the second quarter to where he had 2 guys streaking down the sideline. That time he took a little bit less air off the ball and got it wide out there, and credit great routes on the outside by Ian Premer.
Unofficially now, Minton is 9 out of 13 passing for 156 yards, but more importantly, Great Bend has it 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Great Bend coming out, throwing a little flare out to Cooper Omont. He bounces off a man. Now he stumbles inside the 10. What a run there by Great Bend's Cooper Omont. And nice job of coming out here to start the second half for GBHS.
Great job right there. Again, the Panthers are just taking right now what Olathe South is giving. They're overloading the perimeters and slipping guys into the flats. That time, Omok was able to catch the ball in the flat. And, you know, I give Cooper, who's my nephew, a lot of struggle and grief at Thanksgiving that he needs to eat more potatoes and bread. But on that one, he lowered the center of gravity and ran through some guys in the secondary.
1st and goal for GBHS, moving left to right at the 8-yard line. Minton backs to pass. That ball deflected, and it's going to fall to the field turf incomplete. Looking right at the goal line. I believe they were looking for Ian Premer. If the ball was deflected by a linebacker, brings up a 2nd down and goal from the Olathe South 8-yard line.
One of those plays where you can't guess. We, again, take what the defense gives you. Cooper Omak was still going to be wide open in the flat. Instead, we tried to change it up a little bit, but the bad thing was that the linebackers had kind of sealed off or walled off Ian Premer. If they're going to focus on Premer, you got to take what the defense gives you. I don't care if you have to run that little flat route and throw it 3 times in a row. If they're not going to take it away, you have to be advantageous and take it.
2 receivers split to the far, 1 to the near. 2 running backs next to Minton. He's going to hand it off. Nope, he's going to keep it right up the middle. He slips a tackle at the 5, and he's going to be into the end zone for the touchdown. Dax Minton, nice job of, he pulled it out from the breadbasket of Chase Sharks and is able to sneak into the end zone. He kind of slipped between a couple of defenders there, and Great Bend with a great drive to start the 3rd quarter. They go up 26-14.
Fantastic job by Minton there. You know, that's a little zone read, and he had that ball in the breadbasket of Omak for quite some time, was able to pull it out. And then, again, Minton, he's a small guy, but, boy, he laid his head down and ran through defenders.
Okay, Ben going to go for 2 here. Lead it at 26-14 at the 9:05 mark. Minton back to pass, comes back to the far sideline. This ball's going to be intercepted, and it's going to be, they cannot take it back like they do in college or the pros, so it's going to be a failed 2-point conversion for GBHS. And with 9:05 to play, Great Bend does a nice job coming out to start the 3rd quarter. They get some momentum back. They lead at 20-6, 26-14, 9:05 to play 3rd quarter. We'll be right back to Memorial Stadium. Great Bend Panther Sports, powered by Equity Bank. They never forget it's your money.
Buy or sell your home with confidence at Coldwell Banker Sell Real Estate. Your home sale experience should be simple and rewarding, and our agents at Coldwell Banker will make that happen for you. Call any of our local agents to help guide you home.
Scott's Welding is proud to support Panther Sports. Scott's Welding is fully insured, has certified welders with 24-hour service. For reliable service and community spirit at Scott's Welding, look for the signs west of 10th and Patton Road, Great Bend. Go Panthers!
It's Panther football on B1043 The Point.
Nice job by the Panthers to start the 2nd half, maybe take some of the momentum back from Olathe South, which had gained some in the 2nd quarter.
Well, and they just a great job there. Again, we talked about hitting the perimeters, all of a sudden be a finesse. At some point, they're going to pull the fire plug, full plug out, and they're going to start running that football right up the middle and jamming it between the tackles. But, in fact, that's how they got Minton free there, is all of a sudden you tickle the outsides, and then you just drive it right down the middle.
Ball teed up for Great Bend at the far hash mark at the 40-yard line. Omar Roselio puts the ball in play. He's kicking into the wind. That's the first time anybody scored really going to the south there. And the kickoff taken right up the middle. This is Anthony Harris. He had the kickoff return for a touchdown last week against Mill Valley, and he takes this one out across the 30, and they're going to spot it at the 35-yard line. That's where Olathe South will start this drive at their own 35. They trail at 26-14.
You can just see a nice job by Olathe South there. That wall opened up right in the middle, but you got to give credit to Cohen Ribordi. He pursued that play from the backside, never gave up, and thank goodness, because his pursuit was the one that stopped him from breaking that all the way to the touchdown.
Up front for Olathe South, Juju Marks, Peter McSwaney, Noah Crossman, Aiden Shellhammer, and Matt Gray. They're going to hand up, keeping the football this time. They hand it off to Max Armstrong. He's out across the. Nope, the keeping it was Gage Lee. He's to the 39, a gain of 4 for the Olathe South quarterback.
Again, they're using a little misdirection, but nice job by Schnoblin to stay in that interior line of scrimmage tough, and was able to make the stop. It looks like we already here early in the 2nd quarter or 2nd half are going to have some cramping issues.
There's a Panther down on the field. Looks like Dr. Kevin Supisi out there. Going to do a little work on the injured Panther. As we can tell you right now that Great Bend Sports brought to you in part by Kern Floor Service, Magna Dry Cleaning Services, Shelter Insurance, and Chris Ramsey and Mitchell K. Haney and Associates. We thank all the fine sponsors of Great Bend Sports. 8:40 to play, 3rd quarter. Great Bend on top, 20-6-14. This has been a game of quarters.
It really has, and it's going to be interesting. Get these two teams kind of calm down, and all of a sudden it becomes a heavyweight fight and you're going to go toe for toe and blow for blow, it's going to be very interesting to see. Size is great in some aspects, but sometimes those tanks go a little empty quicker than if you're quick guys that are able to move around and a little bit more spry.
That was Ian Premer that was having some cramping, and boy, you can just tell the way he's walking off the field that he's not feeling real well.
I rode a bull one time and I walked like that.
How long did you stay on?
Well, not long. It was electronic, but
okay, already.
Very similar to that.
2nd down and 6, ball at the 39-yard line. Olathe South in their own territory. They're moving it right to left or south to north here. They hand it off to Armstrong. Armstrong not able to get the edge as he tried to cut it outside of the numbers, but the Panthers defensively right there knock him down. That's going to be no gain on a play. Bring up a 3rd down and 6, and the Panthers do a nice job of keeping Max Armstrong in check.
Defensively, there's nothing better than when you can frustrate a running back, and all of a sudden you got 1 guy, 2 guys, 3 guys gang tackling him at every point. Every time he gets up off the ground, he's got 3 or 4 defenders around him.
Gage Lee back to pass, a little slip screen is going to be caught out there, making a nice job of missing a man miss and then being spun forward across the 45-yard line. That'll be a 1st down. Nice catch out there by Anthony Harris. He's a sophomore. He's been a problem for the Panthers here tonight.
Well, and the Panthers are doing a good job of getting pressure up the field, and that was a nice call by Olathe South to run a slip screen right behind the pressure.
Ball at the 47. 7:57 to play, 3rd quarter. There's another pass out to Harris. He's going to be drilled over there on the far sideline right at the midfield stripe, as Anthony Harris is a 6'3", 170-pound sophomore, and he's a nice-looking individual player there for Olathe South and head coach Ron Litchfield.
Harris just got stacked by Cooper Omar.
That's a gain of 2 on the play, and now the Panthers stack up Max Armstrong again. And it's going to be a gain of about 2 on the play. It's out to the 48-yard line. That was Gage Lee with the carry. He gets to the 49. So Olathe South faces a 3rd down and 7 from their own 49-yard line.
Aiden Davidson did a great job. If you're getting blocked and you're pretty much locked in, don't just stand there. Spin, rotate, do something. And he was able to rotate and be right in the position to stop Lee on the run.
3rd down play. Lee in shotgun formation. Has a man coming into motion. That's Harris. Now he scrambles out to his right, looking downfield, has a man wide open and knocked down. What a defensive play by the Great Bend Panthers. That was Trenton Kern. There was a receiver all alone about the 40-yard line for Olathe South. Kern able to get up into the air, knock it down, and face a 4th down, and it looks like the Falcons will punt the football.
We talk about people that are athletic, and in that situation right there, Trenton Kern going full blast. The ball is thrown a little bit behind him. He goes up with 1 hand, dang near brought that down for an interception, but more importantly, forced the 4th down.
Cooper Omach back for the Panthers in punt formation. As just missing the block was Jacob Hall. He's going to get one before the year is over. Ball takes a bounce inside the 10-yard line, so that's where Great Bend will start this drive at their own 9. 6:45 to play, 3rd quarter. Great Bend on top 26-14. They scored on their opening possession of the 2nd half, and they're able to get Olathe South. Got a couple 1st downs, did the Falcons, but the Panthers able to come up defensively and force the punt.
That's just a great job. That's what if you could have said, let's script the 2nd half. Okay, let's script the 2nd half. Have our offense come out, drive down the field, gobble up 5 or 6 minutes on the great opening drive, score, put points on the board, and then have our defense come out, hold Olathe South, and give ourselves another shot to get on the scoreboard here in only our 2nd possession.
I see Ian Premer back out on the field for Great Bend. I've only slipped a couple times tonight. I got the Hoisington slipping in there a little bit every now and then. Handoff goes to Jay Sharts. He's going to be corralled in the backfield and spun forward to the gain of about 1 to the 10. Bring up a 2nd down and 9 for GBHS.
And that's okay because, the Panthers, they need to be able to do that. They need to be able to pop some runs in the middle, make those guys stay honest, but also then at some point they're going to be out here and they're going to start picking away at the perimeter, but then they still have to come inside. So you definitely have to be able to establish somewhat of a run, somewhat of a threat between the tackles.
We thank you for spending part of your Friday evening with us. I'm Mike Hesher. Sean Bear is your color analyst for Great Bend High School football this season. 2nd down and 9. Ball at the 10-yard line. Great Bend in their own territory. Back to passes mid. He'll roll out to his right now, scrambling, and he's going to get rid of it over the middle. Not a Panther receiver nearby. The closest player was about 3 Olathe South players, and I don't think they're going to throw a flag for intentional grounding.
No, I think he was definitely between the tackles, but it got past the line of scrimmage. There was nobody there.
There was nobody there.
Typically, a quarterback won't dump it over the middle to get rid of the ball. That's there again. I think if you do a pre-snap read and come over and look at the wide side of the field, there's a lot of green over here with not a lot of defenders. So there's got to be somebody open over here. We just can't get too greedy and got to take what that defense has given us through the air.
Just under 6 minutes to play, third quarter. Great Bend on top. Pass out to the near sideline to Omar. He makes a man miss. He's across the 20, and it's going to be good for a Great Bend first down. Has a nice run there nice catch and run by Chad Omar. And now looks like maybe he's cramping up a little bit as a couple of his teammates have his leg up in the air, helped out there by Hayden Kelly. Hayden Kelly was dinged up in the game at McPherson. He's only playing offense tonight for the Panthers. We do have a timeout on the field at the 5:51 mark of the third quarter. We'll go ahead and take a break. Great Bend leads Olathe South 26-14. We'll be right back to Memorial Stadium after this. Panther Sports is powered by Equity Bank, and they never forget it.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff.
Do you need some trees removed, fill dirt, or rock for landscaping or a driveway? Maybe you need some demolition work done or a giant waste container. Whatever the job, make the call to Stone Sand Company and Stone Waste Management, 421 Washington Street in Great Bend.
Great Bend Panther football is on your station that rocks. B1043, The Point.
Great Bend with the football. They have it at their own 20-yard line after the pass from Minton to Cooper Omont. Good for 11 yards and a first down. Great Bend leading at 26-14 midway through the third quarter. Great Bend led 20-0 after the first quarter. Olathe South would dominate the second quarter, cut the deficit to 20-14. But Great Bend would open up the third quarter with a long touchdown drive. They made it 26-14. Then they held Olathe South, and now they have the ball for the second time here in the second half. First and 10 at their own 20. Handoff going to Jay Sharts. He has a big hole. He's across the 25 out to the 26-yard line. So after last week, Sharts went for 141. Unofficially, I have him now 8 carries and 50 yards.
Sharts does a nice job of following Ian Preener around that outside corner. Trenton Kern was able to get a great block to set the corner. Preener went around the outside, got to the second level, and walled off that second level player and allowed Sharts to pick up 8 yards.
Gain of 8 on the play, second down and 2. Ball just across the 26-yard line, about the 27, as the black-cladded Panthers huddle. Now will come to the line of scrimmage, led by center Carter Brown, flanked by Trent Kern and Aiden Davidson. Shotgun formation for quarterback Dax Minton. Off to his right is Sharts. Back to passes. Pass is going to be bobbled out there. Going to be a flag. Defensively for Olathe South, a little bit early was the defender. That's going to be a penalty against the Olathe South Falcons, and that'll be a good for a Great Bend first down.
That was a nice job by Hall. He stuck his route, didn't float up the field, and started coming back to the ball, which is so important because when you've got that kind of lock coverage, if you don't come back to the football, it creates a void that the defender could step in front and score an easy 6. But Hall does a nice job of coming back to the ball, which creates the contact, which creates or draws the flag from the official.
It is a pass interference, a call against the white-cladded Falcons out of Olathe, Eastern Kansas. It'll be a 15-yard mark-off, and by my count, that is the 5th penalty against Olathe for 35 yards. This is unofficial, of course. So Great Bend will have the ball out at the 42-yard line. Panther Sports brought to you in part by Keller Real Estate and Insurance Agency, Insurance Planning, Equity Bank, and 10th Street Eye Care Center. Ball at the 42 for the Panthers. Snap back. They hand it off this time to Ian Preener. Ian cuts up the middle of the field, and he's going to be pushing, and trying to get a couple extra yards. They're going to spot up between the 43 and the 44. We'll give him a gain of 2, second down and 8.
That's a great football IQ right there by Preener. You know, so many times young runners will try to bounce that all the way outside. They'll give up 3 or 4 yards to try to get to the corner. But at this level, and especially against a team like Olathe South, you're not going to do that. So at some point, when you realize that the outside is not going to be available, you got to plant and get north and south. And Premer did that and made a negative play into a positive.
Forgot to tell you after the touchdown by the Panthers to text 620-639-6WIN, 620-639-6946, and you can have a free meal from Delgado's. Minton, plenty of time, launches a pass down the field. It's up for grabs, and it's going to be interception by the Olathe South Falcons across the midfield stripe, and Olathe with a big player defensively as Dax Minton just kind of airmailed that one, and it's going to bring up a interception, first turnover of the year against Great Bend, and Olathe South has the ball at the Great Bend 46-yard line. Nice return by the young man who intercepted the ball.
And again, it looked like Minton got a little tunnel vision, and quite honestly, when you got safeties up over the top, you got to put that on a string, on a line, and try to get that ball into the hole. But he was looking towards Cooper, and I think he made up his mind before the snap of the ball that he was going to go to Omocht on that play. But again, you just got to trust your reads, take what they give you, and keep moving the chains.
3:56 to play, third quarter. Great Bend on top, 26-14. Snap back to the quarterback, Gage Lee, and he's across the 40 down to the 30. He's going to be there, come on, spot him right at the 40. That'll be a pickup of 6, second down and 4, as we have another Panther coming up limping. This is Jackson Wandra. Looks like he's going to stay in the contest, but it's going to bring up a second down and 4 after the 6-yard pickup by quarterback Gage Lee. Back to passes Lee. He's way back. Looks like there could be a hold, and there's a pass out in the flat catch, and a nice slip of a couple of tackles inside the 30 down to the 26-yard line. Not sure if you could hear the crowd yell about the hold, but it's going to be a first down for Olathe South after the pickup as the ball is inside the 30 at the 28. That'll be a pickup of 18.
I don't think that Armstrong was really running a route on that play. To me, he just went out to the outside force player and dropped a block and was driving him down the field, which opened up the receiver for the pass.
First and 10 at the 26. Back to passes. Gage Lee has plenty of time. Now being pressured. Rolls out to his left. Scrambling. His little dump pass. A little bit too tough. That was a bullet pass from about 5 yards. Pass is incomplete as they tried to get the ball to Gavin Aldred, a 5'9", 145-pound junior. Bring up a second down and 10 for Olathe South as they try to capitalize on the interception.
Holiday and Hall were doing a great job of putting a lot of pressure there on Lee, and at the last minute he just tried to slip it by Hall to a defender or to a receiver that was open over there in the flat.
Ball at the 26. Max Armstrong behind his quarterback Gage Lee, who's in shotgun formation. 2 receivers split to the near side for the Falcons. This time they hand it off to Max Armstrong. Within his best run of the night, he drags a Great Bend Panther inside the 15 down to about the 13. That's going to be good for a first down after the 13-yard run by Max Armstrong.
And they get themselves right back up to the line of scrimmage. You can see what they're doing is they're just using motion to get that full house backfield look out of a motion.
They do the same thing again on a first and 10 from the 14. Another handoff to Armstrong. This time he's going to get to the 10, and he's going to be slung back by the Great Bend Panthers. I believe that was Brody Schnoblin in on the tackle. Gain of 3 on the play. Second down and 7 from the Great Bend 10-yard line.
Nice job by Schnoblin there. He just never let himself get taken out of the play. Kept bouncing off of defenders until he got himself over in front of Armstrong and was able to pull him down after a 2-yard gain.
Ball spotted at the 12, the 11 they'll call it, for the Olathe Falcons. Olathe South Falcons. This time, quarterback Gage Lee makes a run, and he's going to be tripped inside the 10. Tripped up there by the Panthers' Connor Holiday. He falls forward to the 7. Going to be a gain of 4 on the play. Bring up a third down, and the ball spotted at the 7 will be third down and 4.
And again, Olathe South is coming out, and they're trying to spread out the field, widen up the Panthers' defense, have Lee drop back, and all of a sudden just take a draw up the middle, but a nice job by Holiday to stay at home and fold into the play.
Third down play for the Falcons. They fake the handoff, rolling out to the far sideline. Being pressured is Lee. He just throws it up for grabs, but wisely he threw it far enough to get out of bounds. So that'll bring up a fourth down and play. Who was doing the chasing? Was that Jacob Hall?
Jacob Hall staying at home, doing a great job of not biting on the misdirection from the wide side. Instead, we talked about know your role, know your job. He did a fantastic job of staying at home and was able to put all kinds of pressure on Lee and force the errant pass.
Big fourth down play here. Ball at the inside the 15. Back to passes. Gage Lee looking now. He's going to scramble. He has the clear lane. Oh, going to be tackled about the 4-yard line, and that's going to be close. Oh, boy, that's going to be close. The official from the far sideline comes running in. He's just inside the 4, and that's where the sticks are at. So we'll see what they say.
This official on this side, I believe it's a Panthers have created the first down for us by holding.
And they're not even going to measure. Nice defensive job. Do you see who made the tackle?
The Panther defense.
Thank you.
Yeah, there were several guys over there
good
at the end and did a great job of they funneled Lee in, and all of a sudden about 3 defenders were able to come up simultaneously and make a great stop.
1st and 10 for Great Bend is after the interception. The Falcons dribble the drive inside the 5, and they're stopped on a 4th down play as scrambling was Gage Lee, and he was just short. They didn't even measure, so it's going to be 1st down for Great Bend. Ball spotted at their own 4-yard line. 1:21 to play in the 3rd quarter. Great Bend leads at 26-14. Daxton Minton, shotgun formation. Carter Brown, the center, and Evan Beck races out onto the field, and he's going to call a timeout. 1:21 to play, 3rd quarter. Great Bend 26, Olathe South 14. Great Bend Sports, powered by Equity Bank. They never forget, it's your money.
Beef, it's what's for dinner. America's taste for beef continues to grow, and much of that nutritious product is produced here in our local community. Innovative Livestock Services, Ward Feed Yard, Great Bend Feeding, and Barton County Feeders are proud to support area athletes in today's game.
The trouble with the future is that it keeps getting closer, which means regardless of your income or goals, it's important to begin developing a plan today. At Edward Jones, they like to look at your individual needs before anything else. Call Todd Armitage, Jim Vopak, Chris Sundahl, Jim Armitage, or Cameron Smith at Edward Jones Great Bend today.
The official home of Panther football is B1043, The Point.
Welcome back to Memorial Field in Great Bend. Mike Hesher along with Sean Baer and the Great Bend Panthers. 20 points in the 1st quarter. Olathe South answered with a 14-point 2nd quarter. It was 20-14 at halftime. And thus far in the 3rd quarter, Great Bend with the only score of the 3rd quarter on a 12-yard touchdown run by Daxton Minton at the 9:05 mark. And that's where we stand with 1:21 to play 3rd quarter. Minton scrambles out to the near sideline. He's able to get to the 5. And it's going to be a gain of 1 on the play for Daxton Minton. 2nd down and 9. Great Bend inside their own 10. Don't want to turn the ball over again.
And that's one of those plays that we were talking about earlier. At some point in time, you got to plant your foot and go straight up the field. What Cooper did is he tried to bounce himself around the outside, and unfortunately, that defense is just too fast to make anything good of that. Sometimes if you just get on the hip of your offensive lineman and they say cut it skinny, meaning get straight north and south, it's a whole lot better. But it looked like Cooper got his helmet ripped off on that play, and he's may have had his wind taken out of him a little bit.
There is another timeout on the field for the injured Panther. We had several of those, but it is still warm outside and some cramping going on. It will cool down eventually, will it not?
I think it will, but, I'm not really worried about myself cramping because there's plenty of pickles on this hamburger. And so, they always say that pickle juice.
I understand.
Yep, helps with cramping. So I think I'm going to be good the rest of the way this game.
Only if you don't have to climb them stairs again.
Only if I don't have to climb the stairs. You're right.
Man, I tell you what, everybody that walked up them stairs to the press box, it took me 5 minutes to recover after that first trip.
I finally got my wind midway through the 1st quarter, so I think we're good. But Cooper's coming off the field, which is a good sign. I think he's looking for his mouthpiece. A lot of times that gets ripped off and your nose gets peeled over to your ear when a helmet comes off, especially when it's still strapped on.
Panther Sports brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, Comfort Pro, Delgado's Mexican Restaurant, and the Great Bend Recreation Commission. 1:15 to play. Great Bend gets a gain of 2 on the play. They're at the 7. 2nd down and 8 from Great Bend's own 7-yard line. And off to Jace Shards. Shards out close to the 10. And then he's going to be pushed back by the defensive line of the Olathe South Falcons. But they're going to give him a gain of They're going to give them the 11-yard line, so that'll be a gain of 3. It'll be 3rd down and a long 4 for GBHS.
You know, math was really never one of my strong suits, but I always said if you could get 3.5 yards per play, then you should be able to move the chains all the way down pretty easily. And the Panthers actually are doing a good job of running the ball up the middle here. You can see they're kind of using the clock and trying to run out potentially maybe the quarter, but they'll go ahead and have to get a snap here with 5 seconds left on the clock.
30 seconds to play, third quarter. Great Bend leads at 26-14. Snap back to Mixon. He'll roll out to his right, looking downfield, and he's going to have to duck and throws it late, and it's going to be almost intercepted again, as making a diving attempt was Joel Williams for the Olathe South Falcons, but the ball hit the field turf incomplete, and that'll bring up a 4th down for Great Bend. Ball at the 10-yard line, so the Panthers will have to punt it away. They got the big 4th down stop. We're going to have a penalty against Great Bend. It's going to be declined, so it'll be 4th down for Great Bend with 19 seconds to play here in quarter number 3. Panthers on top, 26-14.
I think sometimes you can learn a little bit too much by watching Patrick Mahomes on Sunday, because, you know, in that play, Daxton tried to make a lot of things happen, and he tried to carry the play on a little bit long, and then kind of made probably an ill-advised throw back across his body, and you do not want to turn the ball over in that situation.
Kern about 5 yards deep into the black end zone for the Panthers. The punt is away. It's a good punt by Trent Kern. It's going to hit at the 50 and take a Great Bend roll. It's going to go out of bounds, and the receiver, return man for the Olathe South Falcons, I'm not sure that was a real wise move. The ball was going out of bounds, and he picked it up and then stepped out of bounds.
Well, definitely not a wise move at that point, but, you know, the thing about Kern, it's not some big booming spiral. He gets a kick that's going to have a lot of roll out when it hits the ground, and that was a nice job. I think the defender was more worried that it might take a Great Bend hop and get an extra 10 yards, so he was just going to knock that ball out of bounds, and you know, relatively being that close to the sideline, probably not a bad idea.
That's okay. I'll go with that. He does get a lot of roll on his kicks, though, doesn't he? He's end over end. Olathe South with the football at their own 42-yard line. The last seconds here of the third quarter. Back to passes. The Falcons, they go deep downfield, and this one's going to be a battle between Ian Premer and Anthony Harris, and this time it falls to the field turf incomplete, bringing up a 2nd down and 10 for the Olathe South Falcons with 2 seconds remaining here in the third quarter.
And Olathe South tried to take a shot there while they had the wind at their back, and really had that receiver open down the middle there. It looked like Harris might be able to run under the football, but credit Ian Premer with a lot of closing speed, able to knock that ball down.
He was stride for stride with Anthony Harris. Back to pass is Gage Lee. It's a little slip screen again. This catch is made by Harris. Harris makes a man miss, and he's out across the 45-yard line as the horn sounds, ending the third quarter. Anthony Harris has been a pretty good receiver here for Olathe South in this contest. We played 3 quarters. Great Bend, 26. Olathe South 14. We'll be back for the 4th and final stanza after this. Great Bend Sports is powered by Equity Bank. They never forget it's your money.
This is Julie from the Fieldhouse, and we are a proud supporter for the Great Bend Panthers. At the Fieldhouse, we strive to provide space for our athletes to work hard and achieve their goals. Surround yourself with those who want to be great. Join us at the Fieldhouse, where our motto is leadership through athletics. So check us out at fieldhouse.com.
I'm Car Andrews, class of 2035. Empire Realty is a proud supporter of Great Bend High School. When you're ready to buy or sell your home, call Empire Realty. My dad and the Empire team are ready to help you find your next home. Go Panthers!
It's Panther football on B1043 The Point.
Catch it coming out.
We're ready for the fourth quarter. Great Bend, 20 first quarter points. Olathe South, 14 second quarter points. Great Bend with the only points of the third quarter, and they lead at 26-14 as we get ready for the final 12 minutes here at Memorial Stadium in Great Bend. 6A Olathe South making the 4-hour trip out to play 5A Great Bend, and it's been a doozy thus far. Maybe a little bit of surprise. Great Bend hanging right there with Olathe South, who gave Mill Valley all they could handle last week in the Kansas City area. Back to passes. Gage lead, looking down the field, has a man open, but throws it behind him, and then it's going to bring up a 4th down, as it'll be a 4th down, and we'll call it 4 for Olathe South.
Exactly what we alluded to there at halftime. They haven't been, Olathe South has not been effective running the football. Well, they're trying to isolate a receiver through the middle of the field. Guess what? Our linebackers are dropping back into coverage, and now they're going to come back into that power I right here and try to get that first down.
Snap back to Armstrong, and he runs forward. He's across the 47-yard line. That will be good enough for a first down. That's just simple power football.
Power football, and what our defensive line needs to realize is they need to go ahead and they're giving away. The outside contain guys need to watch out for somebody bootlegging out of there, but if they're coming right at you, go down to your knees and make a pile, make them bounce, and allow somebody to come around the outside.
Olathe South moving left to right here in the fourth quarter. This handoff going right to Max Armstrong, and Armstrong for the first time getting some decent yardage here as he's inside the 40. That's going to be a gain of, we'll call it 8, down to the 38.
Well, and you got to credit Olathe South. They're not rushing anything. It's a 2-possession game, but there's plenty of time here in the fourth quarter.
Second down and 3 after the 7-yard pickup. The snap goes back to Gage Lee, and he hands off to Max Armstrong. And Armstrong, we might see a lot of Max Armstrong here in the fourth quarter. 4 ones on the scoreboard clock, 11 minutes and 11 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. Great Bend holding on to a 26-14 lead.
And again, Great Bend is losing the battle at the line of scrimmage right now, getting driven off the football. They have to be able to hold their ground and not give angles to Max running through.
Snap the pass to Gage Lee, fakes the pass to the near side, then takes right off up the middle of the field. He's inside the 30 to the 29. That's going to be a gain of about 4 for Lee. Unofficially for Gage Lee, I have him 13 carries for 92 yards. For Armstrong, we have him at 20 carries for 65 yards.
Panther defense, again, has done a good job of changing it up and giving them a lot of different looks.
And we have a flag on the play. Illegal motion, says the near side official. The man dressed in the black and white striped shirt.
Sometimes I think you can get a procedure penalty by not having an equipment issue or something like that, because really it didn't appear that there was no snap or there was
really no movement.
There was no movement. They were just getting set up. So I think that potentially he blew his whistle and threw the flag because 2 guys didn't have their mouthpieces in.
Second down, we'll call it 9-11. Ball at the 34-yard line. Olathe South with the football. The back-to pass is Gage Lee has all sorts of time. Now rolls out to his right, and he's going to take off and scramble. There is another flag on the play as Lee dives inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line, and we'll see what this flag is.
I think we're going to get a hold.
I believe the near side official has got his hands in that position. So Olathe South hurting themselves here as they're driving inside the Great Bend side of the field, but back-to-back penalties are pushing the white-cladded Falcons backwards.
Again, Aiden Davidson, he was down there and he was locked down in the interior line, but he didn't give up. He kept spinning and eventually spun his way to where he had a shot over at Lee, but one of the offensive line grabbed him across the jersey and tried to hold him back, and the official saw it and threw the flag.
Ball marked back at the 44-yard line, still in Great Bend territory are the Olathe South Falcons. Great Bend leading it by a score of 26-14, 10-16 to play in the ball game. Clock is wound according to the official. A low snap picked up by Gage Lee, so he just tries to get as much as he can. He gets to the outside, turns up at the hash marks on the far sideline, is inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. Nice job there by Gage Lee and there's going to be another holding penalty. Missed that flag, but Sean Bear's over here going, that's a hold. So that's consecutive holding penalties against the Olathe South Falcons.
Yeah, there was definitely 19 Hayes for Olathe South. As he went around the corner, it looked like he reached out and pulled Schnoblin that was out there trying to set the corner and pulled him to the ground and allowed Lee to break contain and get around the edge. But the official threw the flag and
ball all the way back to the 48-yard line. This is going to be what? Second down and St. John, maybe?
That's exactly. I was wondering if you were going to remember that.
Yes, I do. I don't remember many things, but
yes.
Maybe second down in Hart's Corner.
Ode to Patrick.
Patrick and his lovely wife, Lindsay, more than likely listening. And there we're going to have a flag, and this one will be, there was a Great Bend player jump, but they're going to have another penalty against Olathe South. This will be the third consecutive penalty against the white-clouded Falcons out of Olathe. And one of the players on the far sideline is Juju. Juju was not happy about it, and Juju is being held back by a teammate. Juju Marks is the 6'6", 290-pound senior who is committed to play at KU. He was not happy.
Well, and that's one of those deals where, man, you gotta keep your composure, especially if you haven't signed yet anywhere. You get that reaction when one of your receivers moves, and our defensive lineman moved, but he didn't approach the neutral zone.
Lance Leipold may not be happy with that if he saw that. Low snap picked up by Gage-Lee, back to pass, second down and long as he rolls out to the near sideline, has plenty of time. Now backs up even further. He's inside the 35-yard line. Now he's just going to heave it down the field. It's going to be out of bounds, and it's going to bring up a third down for the Olathe South Falcons. As now some of the Great Bend Panthers on the field saying, let's go, crowd, let's go, let's get into it. It's going to be a big third down play here for Olathe South.
These are one of those things you don't want to have a stupid penalty. And at worst case scenario, if you've got a fourth down and a guy's going to catch it for a gain of 25, don't even risk trying to have a penalty. Let him catch it.
They got third down and 30 on third down on the scoreboard. For the Olathe South, moving left to right here. Back to pass one time, more time as Gage-Lee has plenty of time. Now will scramble, being chased by the Panthers. Looking downfield, still is Lee. He'll heave this one downfield. This one's going to be out of bounds. And now this will be a fourth down play as Aaron Beck is slapping his defender, giving chase on the play. That was Aiden Davidson.
Aiden Davidson, I'm here to tell you now, we watched that first quarter, or the first quarter in McPherson, and Aiden Davidson was a man possessed. And right there on that play again, he goes out there, he gets washed to the inside, but stays with the play, keeps his motor running, and is all the way out here putting a lot of pressure on Lee and forcing the errant throw.
Fourth down, 30 for Olathe South. They're in punt formation. Back in for the Panthers is Cooper Omot. The punter, there's another flag on the play. It's a kick. Omot just stays away from it, and now the ball kind of took a bounce, and another Panther player, he just backed away from it. That was, for the Panthers, that was Josh Burney. He said, I'm getting away from that pigskin. I don't want anything to do with it. See what the flag is.
It almost looked like he was saying it's a sideline. And now I don't know if we've had a sideline warning yet, but hopefully the first one's just a sideline warning and not actually a flag.
Now you can see the Great Bend coaches now down below us saying, get back, get back. There's a white line that they're supposed to stand behind. I shot a couple of games for KSN at Arrowhead Stadium, and boy, they had that's one guy, that's all he did, was watch you, and if you even touched the white line, he'd be like looking at you like, you're going to jail, buddy. They didn't take kindly to crossing the white line, but those NFL players are rather large.
Yeah, guys get run over, or like, Tomlin, for Pittsburgh a couple years ago, he actually threw a foot out there and took out a return man, but I didn't think he'd get caught on TV or anything.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not with 15 cameras in a game.
That's exactly right. But it was a sideline warning, and it looks like they're just it is a warning, so the play counts, and Great Bend's going to get the football.
And it's spotted at the 21-yard line. GBHS moving right to left. 9:05 to play. Quarter number 4. Great Bend on top by the score of 26-14. Handoff goes to Cooper Omot. He's out across the 23. We'll gain a 2 for Cooper. Second down and 8. And is it too early for Great Bend to maybe start trying to drain the clock, or they still need to be aggressive there?
I think you need to be aggressive. That time Cooper got the ball, and he kind of tucked his head in, and you could definitely tell he was holding on it with two hands. But, you still got to have your vision, and if you can bounce or weave and get behind an offensive lineman, do it. Just don't run into the back of your offensive line. Try to create, but definitely hold on to the football.
Special credit to up front for Great Bend. That's Blaine Ainsley, Trent Kern, Carter Brown, Aiden Davidson, and Owen Kaiser. Second down, we'll give him a gain of 2. Second down and 8. Shotgun formation for quarterback Dax Minton. Being pressured now, he tries to roll out to his right, finds a little bit of a lane. He tucks the ball, is across the 20 to the 25-yard line. As there now looks like we have a Olathe South Falcon grabbing his foot. That's Parker Ward. He's helped up by a teammate. It's going to gain of 4 on the play out across the 25 to the 26 for Great Bend. And Daxton Minton unofficially 7 carries for 25 yards.
Great decision by Daxton Minton. You don't want to throw the ball necessarily. You definitely don't want to force the ball up the field. You can't turn over the rock at this point. So he did a nice job of just tucking it in and getting up the field and getting what he could and kept that clock moving.
Empty backfield for Daxton Minton. 4 receivers split to the far sideline. Defensive lineman for Olathe South jumped a little bit, but he did not. Now we're going to have a timeout called by Great Bend. Yes, Aaron Beck gets the timeout. 7:28 to play. Great Bend holding on to a 26-14 lead over Olathe South. Great Bend Sports is powered by Equity Bank. They never forget it's your money.
Farmers Bank and Trust, committed to supporting the communities we serve. From ag lending, home loans, and mobile banking to participation in the activities that make a community strong. We're proud to help bring you this Panther broadcast. Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
The Great Bend Rec Center is a proud sponsor of this Great Bend High broadcast. And whether it be on the gridiron, courts, or the green, they would like to wish all Panther athletes competing this school year good luck. Go Panthers from the Great Bend Rec.
Great Bend Panther football is on your station that rocks. B1043, The Point.
Back inside Memorial Stadium, Mike Hesher along with Sean Bear, Great Bend. This might send some shockwaves across the waves if this one continues the way it is right now, with Great Bend leading 26-14, 7:28 to play third quarter. Great Bend with a 3rd down and 5. Daxton Minton, shotgun formation, 3 receivers to the far sideline. That's where Daxton will roll. Pump fakes now, little lob pass, and it's going to be caught on the far sideline. Nice catch over there, just falling down. Did he stay in bounds? I believe he did. That was Jacob Hall with the catch. That was just a nice little passing catch. Jacob Hall knew where the sticks were, got the 6 yards. They needed 5, and the clock will continue to roll for Great Bend, leading 26-14.
Fantastic job there again. Great Bend rolls out to the wide side of the field, and they're just kind of stalling play, roll play, let the defense all get strung out. Hall goes and just finds enough and puts his heels at the first down marker, and Minton delivers a strike.
Unofficially for Daxton Minton tonight, I have him 10 out of 15. There's a handoff going up the middle for 185 yards. These are obviously unofficial stats as Jay Sharts pulled down at the 35-yard line. A gain of 3 for GBHS. 2nd down and 7. As the most important thing right now is that clock to our right. 7 minutes to play. Great Bend up by 26-14.
This is where, as a quarterback, you get in that huddle and you say, hey, Inslee, Kern, Brown, Davidson, Kaiser, this game is ours if you can go out there and you can continue to own the line of scrimmage. Let's go. And you give them a little bit of a challenge, and those guys have played so well tonight. You'd just like to see them be able to sustain this drive and milk out the rest of this clock.
And you know Daxton Minton has that play clock in his vision as the clock ticks under 5 seconds to play with 6:35 to go in the game. Handoff going to Ian Premer. Ian cuts up at the middle of field, still on his feet. He's battling, kind of like for one of the first plays in the game. They're still not calling that play dead as Ian Premer and a bunch of Panthers, and that looked like a rugby scrum. Premer down to the 39-yard line, and we do have a Olathe South player. It's a little slow getting up. That's the big boy. That is Jordan Berry. He is a big man.
They have a lot of big men on that side of the line of scrimmage, but I'm here to tell you, our offensive line was absolutely not intimidated, and that says something. That says something about the young men that are on that offensive line. You know, when they go out there and, hey, I don't care who you are. I don't care what the media says. I don't care, you know, the talk of the size. We're just going to go out there. We're going to play football. We're going to punch them in the mouth. And when it's all said and done, we're going to see where we stand. And that's exactly what the Panther offensive line has done, especially in the second half.
3rd down and short, ball at the 39-yard line. GBHS needs to get to the 43. So we'll call it a 3rd down and 3. As the clock rolls under 6 minutes to play. Great Bend on top by the 26-14 count. Great Bend scored the first 20 points of the game. Olathe South answered with 14, and Great Bend with the only points of the third quarter in the second half here to make it 26-14. Minton looking at that clock, still 5 seconds on the play clock, so he's going to let it go down to about 4. Then he hands off to Cooper Omot, and Omot is going to get across the 40 to the 41, but he's going to be short of the first down sticks by a couple of yards, and we'll see what Aaron Beck does here. I'm guessing he's going to punt the football away. 4th and 2 on their own side of the 50-yard line.
If I've seen Beck over the last couple of years, likely what he does in this situation is he takes the clock all the way down to 1 second or 0, and then typically he'll call a timeout so that he milks absolutely every second off the clock that he can before he decides to punt that football.
Couple of yard gain on the plays. 4th down and 3. Back in punt formation is Trent Kern. He's had a pretty good night punting the football. We talked about it. He doesn't get a lot of height, but he gets a lot of roll as Olathe South goes for the block. This one's a high kick. It's going to drift to the near sideline, takes a high bounce at the 30. And just what we talked about, that high kick, it didn't no roll, and his low kicks get a lot of roll.
Yeah, that one definitely had some hang time to it. Those are the ones when you got the wind at your back, you want to go ahead and kick them low and hard, and hopefully you get that hop and pin them way back deep. But, the Panther defense is going to come out and just have to, again, control the line of scrimmage. The trenches really have been in the favor of Great Bend Panthers this second half.
4:39 remaining in the contest. Great Bend leads at 26-14. Shotgun formation for the Falcons. They hand off, going right up the middle is Max Armstrong. The Falcons are going to have to show some urgency here. The clock ticks under 4:30 to play in the game.
Well, and the Panthers have to watch. There's going to be some play action, and eventually, like you said, they're going to have to start taking some shots down the field. You don't want to get caught looking into that backfield and have somebody run by you.
Ball to 35-yard line, 2nd down and 6 for the white-clouded Falcons out of Olathe. Eastern Kansas. Back to pass is Gage Lee looking down the middle of the field. Pass is going to be intercepted. Looks like that Jake Hall picks it off. And the Panthers with a huge turnover as Gage Lee tried to force that one into some coverage. And I believe it was Jacob Hall with the interception, and the Panthers with the football.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a roughing the passer call on Great Bend after the play. That comes down to one of those discipline issues right there. And Great Bend, what a great job by Hall to drop back into coverage, read the quarterback's eyes, and just fall right up underneath it. But you got to be able to understand the situation of the game. And I know as a D lineman, it's great to hit a quarterback, but holy cow, that could be a big game changer. So the Panthers just need to regroup here and get that one out of their head and reset the edges.
Unofficially for Great Bend, that is their 5th penalty for 40 yards. Moves the ball right out to the midfield stripe. So Olathe South with some new life here, and with 4:01 to play in the game. GBHS leading 26-14. The official says play ball. Midfield stripe for Olathe South. Has back to passes Lee. He's going to run to the far sideline. He's across the line of scrimmage. The ball is up in the air. It's going to be intercepted. I believe that was Ian Premer. He was clearly across the line of scrimmage from where I was at, but it doesn't matter if the ball was picked off by GBHS. And Ian Premer doing some ball hawking in the secondary, and Great Bend got an interception from Jake Hall that was nullified by a penalty, but they get it right back on the next play.
The D lineman that got called for that penalty right now needs to go find Ian Premer and give him a big fat kiss, because that could have really potentially been a huge penalty on the Panthers. But in that situation, again, you knew they were going to try to take some shots down the field. Our secondary is definitely very salty and did a fantastic job. Premer read the eyes of the quarterback, kind of baited him in to throw it over there down that seam, and came across and made a pretty easy interception.
Aaron Beck down to our right talking to one of the officials. 3:52 to play in the game. Great Bend on top, 26-14. Handoff comes to Jay Sharts. He tries to get to the outside, and a nice job of tripping up Jay Sharts. I believe that was not Max Armstrong, but it was a nice tackle there by the Olathe South player, and actually that was Corbin Wesley, I believe. And now a timeout on the field. 3:45 to play. It'll be a 2nd down. Maybe give him a gain of 1 on the play.
That's one of those deals again. You've got probably old offensive line coaches that are watching this, sitting in the stands, and they're just yelling, "Get skinny, get skinny!" Meaning plant that foot and just get up inside And sometimes, you can get 3 or 4 yards if you get skinny. If you keep trying to bounce it out, typically you have to give up a few yards to make it around a little pile or a bulge in that offensive line. If you get skinny, tuck it up in there, you might get a positive 3 to 4 yards, but very rarely are you going to break it around the outside and turn it up for the same amount of yardage.
Scoreboard has Olathe South with 2 timeouts left and Great Bend with 1. 3:45 to play in the contest. Great Bend scored the first 20 points of the contest in the first quarter. Olathe South came back to get the next 14, and Great Bend with the only points of the third quarter. They lead at 26-14. Dax Minton, shotgun formation, has Jay Sharts right off to his left. 2 receivers split to the far. Everybody's standing up. Clock is not running, as now everybody gets into that 35-yard thing that they have to do. They fake the handoff to Sharts. Minton keeps the football. He's across the 15 down to the 19. As one of the Great Bend offensive linemen, I believe that was Aiden Davidson, a little bit of a tussle with a defender from Olathe South. And we're going to have another timeout called by Olathe South. I believe they have 1 left with 3:38 to play in the ballgame. Chance to tell you that Great Bend Sports is brought to you by Edward Jones, Dom Pipe Testing, the University of Kansas Health System, and the Fieldhouse.
This is a situation where Great Bend can, in essence, put this game away. Olathe South has brought down inside 2 extra defenders in the box. And the box, I say that a lot. What the box is it's a 3-yard rectangle that from tackle to tackle, 3 yards within the line of scrimmage. They brought a lot of defenders down there to stop the Panthers' run. You've got a quarterback like Daxton Minton, who's a headsy kid, pretty accurate thrower. You got one of the best receivers, highly touted tight ends in the state, very big at Ian Premer. And, you've got man coverage out there on the outside, and that's how they're able to bring bodies in as they go man coverage. I kind of like if you can try to get Ian Premer one-on-one and lay one up for him and see what can happen. But you can see right here they're going to try to bracket Ian, and they've actually switched They have switched up coverage as they come out of that timeout.
3rd down 7, ball to 19-yard line. Great Bend in their own territory. Big 3rd down play. Minton with just a quick throw out the far sideline to Cooper Almont. He makes the catch, but he tackled very quickly. And we're going to have the 3rd and final timeout called by Olathe South. 3:35 remaining in the ball game. Great Bend on top by a score of 26-14. As we talked about other action in the Western Athletic Conference tonight, Hayes is in Denver to play Wheat Ridge, Dodge City at Olathe East, Garden City at Olathe Northwest, and Wichita South playing in Liberal. Next week, the Panthers right back here at Memorial Stadium taking on Buhler.
Big time right here for the Panthers. They need to make sure they get a great punt. And again, defensively now, you have to figure that they are going to slip the run, but they're still going to have to throw it. Our secondary has to come up big, but our defensive line, if you've got a couple of those kids down there that are scout teamers, as long as they got a little gas in the tank and can rush, it's going to come down to, can you put a little bit of pressure on Lee, force him to make an errant play coming down to the end of the game here. But first things first, we got to get a good punt off and flip this field.
Yeah, I would say make sure you block and Aiden Davidson or Trent Kern get the punt away. He'll stand about 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to set up about the 6-yard line down to our right on the green field turf here at Memorial Stadium. Going to back up to the 5 as he awaits the snap. No rush as they set up the return. A high kick from Trent Kern. This ball is going to be fielded at the 43-yard line by Olathe South, moving up the field and tackled as he gets close to the midfield stripe. And I believe there's some chippiness going on out there right now. Olathe South probably a little upset. We drove 4 hours and we're going to have everything that we can and more from Great Bend.
Well, Olathe South's not used to being in this position over the years, especially when we always talk about the fallacy that East is so much better than West in the state of Kansas, and all of a sudden, right now, the Panthers are having the better of it.
How many students in Olathe actually knew where Great Bend was before this game was scheduled? 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line for the Olathe South Falcons. They're moving it left to right here. 3:26 to play in the contest. They're going to fake the pass. Now running is Gage Smith. He's going to slide down to the 36-yard line. That's going to be Gage Lee, correction. That's a gain of 11 on the play, or gain of 9. It's going to bring a 2nd down and 1.
No timeout, so they're going to be in a hurry-up offense the rest of the way here.
I have unofficially now Lee over 100 yards. Back to pass is the junior quarterback. Plenty of time. Now we'll roll off to his left. Has some green in front of him. Now he's just going to run to the sticks. Make sure he gets the first down as he crosses the 35 to the 34. That'll be good for a first down. He got it out of bounds to stop the clock with 2:56 remaining.
Great job there in the secondary by the Panthers. You know, you've got Jay Sharts back there. You've got Premer. And a lot of guys with a lot of speed that are doing a great job. Hayden Kelly that are locking down the receivers for South.
35-yard line. Back to pass is Gage Lee. Looks over the middle. And a ball is intercepted. Diving interception there by the Panthers. Did not see. Was it?
It was Hall?
It was Connor Holiday, I believe. Or was it Jacob Hall?
It was Jacob Hall. Did a great job again. He's that's two of them that he's got, and he just kind of makes it look like that slot receiver is open and slides right in and makes a great interception.
That is the second interception thrown by the quarterback Lee. He threw 2 last week, so Gage Lee throws the interception. Now Great Bend with 2:50 remaining in the ball game, and they lead it by 12, 26-14. Take care of the pigskin.
Take care of the pigskin. Move the chains one time.
That's all you got to do. Tight formation. It looks like they're almost in victory formation, but not quite. They do have. There's the handoff to Jay Sharts. Sharts across the 31. They're going to stack him up at the 33. A gain of about 3 on the play. As the clock will continue to roll here. Unofficially, I have Jay Sharts 11 carries for 59 yards. Ball at the 33. As the clock rolls, and there's nothing Olathe South can do at this point.
And you know it's a 2-possession game. Right now, Great Bend is sitting in a great position. They don't have to do anything cute. Just keep it between the tackles, run the ball. Even if you have to punt, it's going to be a very, very tall task to come back and score with 2 possessions.
Yeah, Great Bend will have to commit a turnover or something to get Olathe South back into the contest. So it's not quite a victory formation, but another handoff to Sharts. He cuts to the outside, doesn't go out of bounds as he crosses the 40 and just falls to the turf. Nice, smart play there by Jay Sharts. A little bit short of the first down, but he stayed in bounds, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 1. Some of the Great Bend players thought he had the first down, but I think he fell down just across the 40, and they needed to get across the 41 for the first down.
Well, he did. They are going to pump it and move the chains.
Are they really?
And that should actually do it. But what a great job by Sharts. He could have run out of bounds, but, you know, we talked earlier about the knowledge that these kids have. And that's just fantastic. He did a great job of keeping himself in bounds and going down, not trying to do too much, but move the chains.
41-yard line, 1:30 to play. Olathe South comes to Western Kansas. And unless something drastic happens, the Great Bend Panthers are going to come away with their 2nd win of the season. They defeated McPherson last week, and it looks like they're going to take care of 6A Olathe South on a Friday night in Great Bend.
You know, I got to be honest with you. I didn't even want to make eye contact with you. Talking about that there was a possibility that we were going to pull this off. This whole 4th quarter, I haven't made eye contact with you because, you know, it's like Friday the 13th. If something can go wrong, something will go wrong. What's your superstition? Well, I didn't change my underwear today because I was hoping for a victory, and it looks like we may just get one.
Well, I didn't shower, so I guess
we both got that going for us.
We got to be even. 2nd down and 11, but that's kind of academic. The clock rolls. Great Bend will have it snap it one more time. The play clock is at 35. The game clock is at 38. And GBHS, Aaron Beck, is going to pick up a huge win over Olathe South. And by my count, and now the snap is made, and the Panther, once again, Daxton Minton pumping that fist, coming up the field, shaking his hands. That is Owen Kaiser, and the Panthers now will greet the Olathe South Falcons at midfield. And Great Bend, 13 seconds on the clock. It's rolling. Nothing Olathe South can do. And GBHS with a 26-14 win over Olathe South on a Friday night in Western Kansas.
Can you hear that?
There's a lot of WAC members going, uh-oh.
What is going on in Great Bend?
Exactly.
No, that's freaking fantastic.
And I think that people had some inklings. Obviously, Great Bend took Wichita, Cape and Mount Carmel to the test last year in the playoffs. And tonight, they get a big win over Olathe South and a 6A school.
You know, and on Sports Day, you had Holiday and you had Jay Sharks.
Correct.
And, it's a lot of vibrato for kids to go up there and they talk the big talk and they talk the game. But I think the kids have really bought into it.
There's no question.
I think these kids have really bought into it. They bought into. They're confident, and the core of this team is just tough.
Yes.
There's a toughness about this team that you got to love.
A lot of hugs going on downfield and some fireworks going off down to our right. And Great Bend wins this contest as they now are in front of the student section celebrating this victory. As they head off to the locker room, Aaron Beck will have a discussion with him, and hopefully he will come join us here in a little bit. Great Bend 2-0 after defeating Olathe South by a score of 26-14. And Great Bend now 2-0. Olathe South falls to 0-2. And that's going to be a long bus ride back to Olathe.
I would not want to be on that bus. If my parents were in the stands, I'd be like, can I ride home with you?
I'm going with you. That's
I want
right.
to get as far away from Coach as possible at this point. But, wow, hats off to the Great Bend, the coaching staff. The coaching staff had a great game plan tonight. They came out, and again, everything went. You couldn't have scripted it any better for the Panthers.
The way the game started.
And you're starting just to think that, if there was ever a magical year, this just may be it, the way that the Panthers have come out both times. And again, it looked like they got a little lax in the first half, but hey, they took advantage of the things. You talk about points off turnovers usually in basketball, but out there the Panthers were able to capitalize on some mistakes and make some good fortune for themselves.
Great Bend wins it by a score of 26-14. Aaron Beck's ball club moves to 2-0 on the season, and they get Buhler at home next week as they take on the Crusaders as they look to go 3-0 to start this season. We're going to take a break, come back, and start your post-game show that's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust.